Now, these team at 4 this fixture will begin at goal number 1 with Laurie Walker. Number 2 is Reece Hall-Johnson. At 4, Danny Collins. Along to 5, Mark Armstrong. Number 9, Nikki Kabamba.
I am indeed. 3 changes for the shots today, George. In goal is probably the key one. Jordy van Stapperscherf is back from his 3-match suspension, so he takes over the gloves from Jack Bycroft, who of course is on loan from Southampton. Haji Minoga, back from international duty, takes his place in the centre of defence as well, and Jack Barham will be snapping at the heels of the Barnet defenders. He's back in the starting lineup with Kwame Thomas dropping to the bench. The full lineup very quickly for you, George. Van Stapperscherf in goal, Harries, Minoga and Dyche the centre backs, Harfield and Jones the wing backs, Ryan Glover and Tyler Frost the unlikely midfield pairing that's been doing so well of late. Josh Stokes in front of them, the top scorer for the shots with 5 goals so far this season, and then Lauren Tolaj and Jack Barham up top. Live at the Hive, I like the sound of that. We are indeed. Good evening to you, Steve Brett. Thanks for letting us know that you can hear us loud and clear. Much appreciated. Mike Brown as well says sounding great and actually interesting listening to the pre-chat. And Graham Whitehead says all good tonight. So yeah, we're just making our final preparations here. It's a pretty poor turnout in the Hive right now, considering we're 11 minutes away from kickoff. Either that or there's some very good bars behind the stands, and the supporters are suddenly going to appear in the next 10 minutes. Listeners, it's very blustery and overcast tonight. There's not a lot of rain forecast, perhaps a little bit towards the end of the evening, but the pitch does look in pretty decent condition, and the home side are in pretty decent condition as well. 4 home wins out of 4 so far. They've scored 3 goals in 3 of them, 2 in the other. And the shots, of course, haven't been great on the road so far this season. They might have 1 or 2 mitigating circumstances, but let us not forget that in their last away game up at AFC Fylde, they got the win and they got the first clean sheet of the season. We'll keep you posted on the other scores in the National League throughout the evening as well. But most importantly, we'll be following the action here at the Hive, where I'm delighted to say that I've been joined tonight, not for the first time, because bless him, he's been on our podcast NL Full Time a few times, but TNT Sports and Sky Sports Lost Tonight is our again. A very good evening to you again, Aaron McLean.
Good evening, good evening. Good to be here, mate. Good to be here alongside you.
Yeah, good stuff. I put something on Facebook earlier, and fun enough, one of my sons piped up, because I've told Aaron this story before, but they posed for a photo when they're about 7 and 5 with Aaron when he was at Aldershot, and I think maybe watched him quite a bit in his Peterborough days as well, because they both became season ticket holders there. And I know that my eldest son at least did meet up with you at the playoff game at the end of last season. So and we caught up at Halifax as well. So the first time I was brave enough to come over and chat to Aaron was at Chesterfield. It was a 0-0 draw 2 or 3 years ago, and I think we've kept in touch ever since. Just tell us briefly before we get into tonight's, Aaron. I know you've got fond memories of your time. You've been at both clubs, but fond memories of your time at Aldershot.
Absolutely. You know, Aldershot was really my first real taste of men's football. You know, playing regularly, understanding what it means to be a full-time professional. And I'd had 4 years at Leyton Orient prior to that, 2 years YTS and 2 years professional, but actually training all week and playing, understanding what it meant to the fans, you know, that was huge for me. And you know, I absolutely loved my time at Aldershot, and it definitely set me up for my career.
You were such a popular player and person at Aldershot. Of course, you got the nickname Springs as well, didn't you, because you leapt so high. And perhaps the most famous goal you scored for us was at Stoke in the playoff final against Shrewsbury. You dared to dream that day, and Aldershot fans did as well. They ended up the day in tears, but you must have fond memories of that goal at least.
I do. I have fond memories of that day, but it's still one that haunts me. You know, that game, I had to end up coming off during that game with cramp, and that was something that plagued me through my whole career. But you know, that day I felt like we were going to win. You know, I was so confident that we were going to win, and everything was set up for us. And even to, like I say, this day when I speak about it and when I think back to it, I don't know how we didn't go and get promoted that day. And you know, things could have been totally different had that have happened. It wasn't to be, unfortunately, but my memories of it will always be good memories.
Well, Aaron, I'll let you into secret. I've watched Aldershot for 50 years, and I go back as far as the John Dungworths and the Murray Brodies. But my favourite 3 Aldershot strikers of all time, on the occasions that they did play together, was Tim Sills and Roscoe Desane and your good self. Terrific times, weren't they? Moving on from there, of course, you went back to Grays, and after a season or so, you really started to knock in some big numbers with the goals, and then you got your big move to Peterborough and so on. I just want to ask you, when did it really all click for you? You know, when did you start to become more of a complete finisher, if you like?
The funny thing is that in the early part of my career, I'd very much just based my game on working hard, making sure that whether I score or whether I don't score, I'm effective for my team. And it was actually one of my friends, Leon Johnson, who he was playing for, I want to say Gillingham at the time in the Championship, and he came to a Grays game, and I got man of the match. I think we'd won 3-0, and I hadn't scored, and I was buzzing with that. And afterwards he said, "Look, it's great that you're, you know, chasing fullbacks down and winning headers and making tackles, but if you really want to have a career, like, you need to be scoring goals. You need to be coming off that pitch, not having one or every header in their box and in your box, but having put the ball in the back of the net twice." So he kind of put that seed in my head of just being more selfish when you get in front of goal. And in terms of practicing my finishing, you know, I used to do that anyway. That was my bread and butter. I always used to practice. But I think my mentality, I was very much a team player, and it didn't hurt me to not be the one that scored the goals. Whereas as I got older and played more games and had a bit more understanding, I started to realise that, you know what, as well as being a team player, the team relies on me to score goals. And if I want to actually go on and have a long career, then I need to get that selfish streak into my game.
And it's a tough question, a hard question, unfair question to say where were your favourite times, but I'm thinking you, Craig McCarr-Smith and Boydie up top for Peterborough, were they perhaps the most heady days for you? Yeah,
most definitely. You know, those back-to-back promotion seasons at Peterborough were like no other. You know, it wasn't just the fact that we got promotions. It was, we brought in so many young, hungry players, you know, from either non-league or from teams that, you know, players that weren't wanted. You know, a Charlie Lee from Tottenham, but they didn't want him. And we were all young. They made us all move down to Peterborough. So we all socialised together away from football, and we became really good friends. You know, we just became a group of friends that we all just wanted to do our best for each other. So when times got tough, we'd all dig in for each other, and you know, we definitely reap the rewards for that.
Great stuff. A little walk down memory lane there with Aaron McLean, and now a little walk from the tunnel to the pitch for our two teams this evening. The Bees against the Shots, and the Shots are in the Argentina kit, as I call it, which hasn't brought any pointage back yet, Aaron, but it is a lovely kit, my favourite one of the three this season. And they're in white shorts and white socks. Barnet are in their home kit of amber and black shirts, black shorts and black socks. Before we get to the teams, just a couple of minutes from you on Barnet. Are they the real deal? They've certainly started the season well.
I think they are. I think they're definitely set up to stand the test of time this season. I think they've learned a lot from last season's disappointments in terms of managing players. You know, Nicky Kabamba especially, near the end of the season, he just almost ran out of steam because they kind of overplayed him and they had no choice. But I think this season they've got the right balance. They've got really, really good players. Zach Brunt is definitely a favourite of mine. You know, I've seen him play when he was at Southend and I think at Notts. He's just got so much talent, the boy, and it's going to be key that Aldershot don't allow him to grow into the game, because he's one of them, once he starts enjoying himself, the flicks and tricks come out, but he's got the quality as well.
Ironically, and I don't know if you realise this, Aaron, but Laurie Walker, Idi Kanu and Nicky Kabamba have all spent time at Aldershot, so of course, I'll come to you on Idi in a little while, because I know you know him well and you coached him at Peterborough for a little while. But let's get to the teams now, because the referee's doing the toss. The referee, by the way, is another Aaron Farmer. 4 games this season, 21 yellows, no reds as yet. And the Barnet line-up as follows: Laurie Walker in goal, a back 3 of Finlay Potter, Adebola Aluwu and Danny Collins. Idi Kanu, I've been told, will probably play in the left-sided wing-back spot tonight. We'll keep an eye on that early doors. Reece Hall-Johnson on the right, and then Hartigan and Armstrong in the centre of midfield, with Pritchard moving a little bit further forward on the left side, Kabamba in the middle and Zach Brunt. Aldershot with the 3 changes line up as follows: Jordi van Stappershoef back in the sticks, Kian Harries, Hadji Minoga and Max Dyche, who's on a month's loan from Northampton, Aaron, the son of, and then Ollie Harfield and Aaron Jones, the wing backs, Ryan Glover and Tyler Frost in the centre of midfield. Young Josh Stokes, who's going to take the kick off for shots towards the open end, if you know your Hive, in the first half. Playing behind Barham and Tolaj. We are underway here at the Hive, and there's some very strong gusts of wind, one of which has just taken one of my media colleagues' laptops off the desk, but the show must go on, Aaron. That's it. Hold everything down. The shots have got an early throw halfway inside the Barnet half, and it will be taken by Ollie Harfield, who, as I say, has reverted to his left wing back spot tonight, where he's assisted so many goals. Good header there from Max Dyche. Ball bouncing into a corridor of uncertainty. Barnet hook it clear. Aaron, just coming to you on the conditions. Probably a lot of grounds, this little bit of blustery breeze wouldn't make too much difference, but you've got a big old open end here at the Hive, and it does really swell through, doesn't it? It
really does. It really makes a difference. You know, you're going to see there's going to be certain balls that are going to be played, and you know, depending on how the wind's blowing, it will either hold up or it will carry.
Ball through from Barnet, which Hadji Minoga just has to deal with. He goes back to Jordi van Stappershoef, who exchanges passes with Kian Harries before going again out to his right to Hadji Minoga. And then a ball into Tolaj, who's definitely beaten to the ball by the defender that came through. I can't quite see his number there. But that was the old, I'm going to win my first 50-50, wasn't it, Aaron?
Yeah, listen, it's important to stamp your mark on the game early, especially playing against these Aldershot strikers. You know, they're in good form, they're good players. You have to leave your mark on them early.
Yeah, and I think now it was Finlay Potter, who's on a season loan from Sheffield United. And Dean Brennan doesn't mind 2 or 3 of those, does he? Season loans from a sort of Premier or a Championship club. There's a long ball over the top from Hadji Minoga. It's being chased down by Jack Barham, but I think the players from both sides just trying to work out the wind at the moment, aren't they? And the sooner they master it, the better, because when they come out for the second half, it'll be the opposite.
Absolutely. Well, you say that, but
yeah,
you never know with this weather. No. You know, it just chops and changes. So at the moment, the wind seems to be in Barnet's favour. You know, the way that it's blowing, but listen, it can change in a moment or so. So both teams just trying to get a feel for the ball, trying to knock it about and understand where the dangers could be for their team.
Here's Marvin Armstrong on the ball, out wide to Idi Khan. Oh no, it's not. I beg your pardon. Reece Hall-Johnson, and Aldershot have won it back. Well done, Harfield. And then Barham couldn't hold it, and it was well won back by Aluwu. And really quite intense battle early on. Harfield manages to get it down the line. It's played into touch And both these two sides at the moment, Aaron, desperate to wrestle a bit of control early on, aren't they?
Yeah, well, it feels like a derby. You know, it feels like it's got that feel to it. It's quite frantic at the beginning. The conditions will be playing a part to it, but both teams have started off, you know, really, really quickly. And I think the team that can get the ball down and string a few passes together and settle into the game will definitely take control of this one.
Free kick given there by the referee to Barnet, about 15-20 yards inside their own half on the right-hand side. It gives me the opportunity to share this with you listeners. Chesterfield, who've scored 6 matches now after 80 minutes to win games this season, are finally doing it a different way. They got the first goal of the evening at home to FC Halifax Town after just 2 minutes. So the first goal in the National League this evening goes to the league leaders, Chesterfield, who come into tonight's matches with a 3-point lead. Just a little bit of concern there for the Barnet player. He's just receiving 1 or 2 checks, which is why we got the stoppage in play. If you've just joined us late on, I'm Rob Worrell. Alongside me is former Shot and former B, Aaron McLean. And you're listening to BBC Radio Surrey Sport or the BBC Sport app. And not on this occasion, the National League TV platform. I think that commentary is being provided by the home side this evening. If it is me, they haven't told me and they haven't plugged anything in. So, but just in case, we'll cover all bases. We're finally going to get back underway. The Barnet player that was just receiving a little bit of care and treatment was Danny Collins. May as well talk about him while it stopped for him, Aaron. He was one of the centre-backs at Dover, getting a pummeling week in, week out, but it certainly held him in good stead because he's playing his part this season, isn't he, with Barnet? And he's weighed in with 4 goals at the other end as well. Yeah,
you know, I think that's been the surprising thing, is that he's not only is he doing his defensive duties, but he's getting himself on the score sheet on a regular basis. Like you say, 4 goals so far this season from the defender. You know, it shows that he was clearly a good player just in a bad team.
Another midfield skirmish. It's going one way then the other. Frost now battling with Armstrong, and he nips in front of him and wins it back. Was he fouled? Nothing given by referee Farmer, who's going to have his work cut out this evening if these two sides keep up this level of intensity. Determined to take control and get the first goal. Barnet, of course, have scored 11 goals in there. That's a ball over the top that's going to drift out of play behind the goal away to our right. There's a really good showing of the Aldershot Town fans tonight, and they're looking really snug together because they've just been allocated one end of the big away stand here. Difficult to estimate the numbers, but I'd say it's probably a good 200 at least, maybe 250. Aaron, what do you reckon?
Yeah, and they've travelled really well. You know, it's not too far away, but with the traffic and, you know, the rush hour, the timing of the kickoff, they would have had to have set off pretty early. But, you know, really good turnout, and it's good to see. It's good to see. My time at Aldershot, you know, there was always a brilliant following, and it really does make a difference to the lads.
Yeah, and they're nice and loud tonight over there as well. You might be picking them up on our sound effects microphone listeners. Very good evening to Lindsay Morris in Tenerife, who says he can hear us loud and clear. I know we've got a listener in Mumbai tonight as well. There's a good battle between Glover and Armstrong, and then Glover gets a bit of support from Stokes. He prods it forward, but Barnet come away with it again, and neither side can really get anything going at the minute because the other team out of possession are snapping and snarling away. There's a ball into Pritchard, who's come quite deep there, and I don't think the information we got earlier was right, you know, because Pritchard looks more central to me, and Iddy pushing up at the moment. We'll keep an eye on those formations. Here is Marvin Armstrong, who is just 23 years old, was at Worthing before he came to Barnet. So another one Brennan's plucked up from a level below. Collins well forward. Brunt picking it up, but he's unloaded, and Frost comes away with it. Gives it to Tolaj, who turns smartly to get away from his man. Drags the ball on, heavy touch, recovers well, spreads it out to the left side. Stokes, can he get a little touch in front of Aluwu? No, he can't. Aluwu does the business there. Promising looking move for the shots. Tolaj doing well, but Barnet have wrestled it back. And Tolaj, who looked so promising pre-season, scored 2 goals on the opening day, is waiting for his next goal after that. But his work rate is always dependable. Here's a ball out to the right for Barnet. It's cut out well by Harfield. It's going to go all the way back to Geordie van Stapperscherf, who at the moment looks very calm figure. That's a clearance from Dyche, is blocked by Armstrong, who continued his run forward, and probably the first little dodgy moment in possession. There's a ball from Stokes through to Barham. He pierces the defensive line, chips the keeper, but the flag's gone up, and he's probably going to get a yellow card for it, Aaron, which, I don't know. Oh, here we go. I mean, it was a long time after the whistle went, to be fair, wasn't it?
Yeah, unfortunately, is that, listen, the players all know the rules now.
Yeah.
We've been so used to doing it that it's just second nature now, that you just put the ball in the back of the net, which Barham does, and he does it brilliantly, dinks it over the goalkeeper. But as soon as that happens, the opposition players are always going to be appealing for him to get that yellow card, and the referee duly obliges.
Well, there you go. And I meant to check my notes earlier, but I'm pretty sure I'm right in saying Jack Barham's an ex-Barnet player, isn't he? He's definitely had a period here.
Yeah.
Here's Barnet trying to build in their own half. Pritchard involved, goes back to Collins, who's breaking forward now. Blocked by the tackle of Glover, but gets up again. Referee has a look at it, says no advantage. You can have the free kick. And Barnet will have the opportunity, not too far away from Aaron and myself, which Hartigan and Brunt are going to stand over to clip a free kick into the Aldershot penalty area. We're approaching the 10-minute mark. It's the Bees 0, the Shots 0. Couple more goals in the National League. Tell you about them when we get time. But at the moment, this first attacking opportunity for Barnet in the 10th minute. Brunt with the ball in it. Looks very deep. Is it over everybody? It comes off the head of the Barnet number 22, Alowu, and goes behind. Harmless there enough. Alowu, another one of those players, come from Chelmsford, hasn't he? 23 years old now, but he's stepped up, and he's stepped up really well, hasn't he?
He really has. He's got a really, really good physique. Looks like he's got a really good temperament as well. Looks comfortable on the ball, and that's what teams like Barnet need to do. You need to pluck these players from lower clubs, but that have the potential to be able to go on and do things, and Barnet have been really good at that. Peterborough seem to be a Peterborough feeder club at the moment.
They do. Aldershot from the goal kick, the knockdown. It's been well won from Idris Kanu off of Stokes, plays it back to his keeper, who clears. Not the best clearance, but it's controlled well by Pritchard, who feeds it back to Idris Kanu. But Aldershot have got a lot of players forward. They're pressing Barnet, and in comes Glover, who nearly wins it again, and then Armstrong, who's under pressure from Dyche. And there's no doubt about the plan for Aldershot tonight to really press Barnet all over the pitch. Here's Hall Johnson receiving the ball out on the right hand side, one-on-one up against Harfield. Cross comes in from Hartigan, a header on. Idris Kanu at the far post, comes back onto his other foot, and then surely there's a shove on Frost, but the ref hasn't spotted it. Frost clears it into touch, and he did well there, Frost, to keep his balance and clear it to touch, Aaron, because he was just impeded.
Yeah, I thought Pritchard had fouled him there, because he didn't really make an attempt to get the ball. He just tried to push him out of the way, but Frost stayed strong and just did his duties and got the ball out of play.
Solihull Moors the only unbeaten team in the National League so far this season, but they are 1-0 down at home to AFC Fard. Here's Kanu on the ball, goes back to Alowu. Alowu goes out to Finley Potter, another season loan, Sheffield United, and eventually the ball's ended up in touch, and Barnet certainly haven't been able to dominate as they would have wanted to in the opening 12 minutes or so. I think, it's 0-0. We can look at one or two stats, possession, territory, stuff like that, can't we? But Aldershot have imposed themselves on this game, and they're not here to be rolled over by Barnet, that's for sure.
Absolutely. Well, they've started at a really fast pace, and every time Barnet players get on the ball, the Aldershot players are pressing right up against them, and they're not going to allow them to just get the ball and knock it around. So, so far it's a really good away performance from Aldershot.
Yeah, Barham held the ball up there, and he might have been impeded. Again, the ref not giving it. Good exchange between Stokes and Glover, but they've lost it again, and Barnet trying to play their way through, but Haji Minoga picks up a loose ball, goes back to Kian Harris, who wants it back on his left foot, plays it out to the right to Tolaj, who turns it inside to Frost. Frost looking for the return ball to Tolaj, and he's not quite going to get there. The ball goes into touch. I think Tolaj was either stumbling or very cleverly falling into the Barnet player. And Aldershot asking questions away to our left with an attacking throw-in on the right side. Aaron Jones, who I think is still skipper in the side tonight. He is indeed. Takes the throw into Frost, turns his man, tries to get across in, does do, and Laurie Walker snaffles it at his near post. Neither side have forced an effort on goal in this opening 14 minutes, but it has been a lively start. Here's Aluwu just coming out of it and feeding Pritchard, who is indeed playing a lot more central. Kanu on the left, Paul Johnson on the right. I think he's got more of a free role, Pritchard, isn't he? He can, it's not totally free, but he can switch with Armstrong, can't he? Look, as they've done at the minute.
Yeah, well, you're seeing times where, you know, normally we'd see Pritchard higher up, but there's been a few occasions where he's dropping really deep to get the ball from the defence, just so that he can try and dictate the game. You know, he is one that you have to keep an eye on because he has got serious ability in his boots, and if you let him control the game, he can take the game away from you.
Here's Hall Johnson trying to get across in. That's stopped by Harfield. Pritchard was involved again, of course, 14 goals last season. I'm not sure if he's opened his account yet this season. I know that Nicky Kabamba is not just the top scorer for Barnet, but in the league. And I know it's easy to say after 8 goals, but I know that me and Aaron both tipped him to be the top scorer in the National League, and we're the only two that put our head above the parapet before a ball was kicked, didn't we?
Exactly.
Right,
I'm glad that's recorded.
Hope he has a dry spell starting tonight. In comes the corner from Brunt. It's missed by a couple of people to the edge of the area. Stokes manages to clear it away. He's headed back in, and then very competitive from Glover. He feels he was impeded by Kanu. Referee's giving nothing. The temptation for players to get little shoves, pushes, knocks in must be huge because referees are letting so much go. I think it's in response really to the amount of simulation that's crept into the game, really, isn't it, Aaron?
Well, do you know what? I'm not too sad to see it. I'm not too sad to see referees letting things go because I think some of these players actually need to toughen up a bit.
Well, we mentioned a few Shots fans that are listening abroad. I can tell you that 2 of my NL full-time podcast colleagues, Luke Edwards and Dickie Wharton, are both listening as well. Good evening to you chaps from me and from Aaron, I'm sure. And the ball's back with Jordy van Stappershoef. I did speak to him at the weekend as he was sat just in front of the media box, and he doesn't mind Jordy or Jordy, but in Holland he's called Jordy, so we'll get with the Dutch.
Go with Jordy, yeah.
Yeah.
I can say I know some Dutch now.
Exactly. Right, Barnet have got the ball back in front of their own, and maybe just in the last 2 or 3 minutes the pace has just eased a little. Well done, Minoga. Straight onto Armstrong when he got possession, and he's put his foot through it and cleared it behind, and it'll be another goal kick. But again, if the Barnet players thought they might get a bit of space and time on the ball tonight, they now know otherwise, don't they? The crowd did fill up a lot in that last 10 minutes before the game, didn't it? As I looked round, there looked about 500 on the ground before we got going, but it's filled out a little bit. Good headed clearance from Aaron Jones. Forgive me with the Aarons and Aarons tonight. I know you're very forgiving anyway, but there's so many. The referee, the Aldershot captain, the guest summarising commentator. Altrincham 0, Hartlepool 1 is another score in the National League. Here's Kanu picking the ball up, and Aaron Jones tries to dispossess him straight away. It is a foul. I wonder if the referee's thinking about giving any more than that. Let's talk briefly about Idris Kanu, because we've got this free kick coming up. But you know him well, don't you? And you coached him at Peterborough, and he's improving all the time, isn't he?
He really is. You know, he's one that I envisage that he'll be back in the league fairly shortly. You know, he's got a great ability and a really good temperament. You know, it's good to see him playing week in, week out and improving the way he is.
In comes the free kick from Barnet. It's headed away by Haji Minoga. And interestingly, on this right side, Danny Collins, who's got 4 goals already this season, was drifting into a space at the far post unmarked. And that's something that Aldershot will have to shut down because he's been good. He's now going to take the throw in, which is level with the edge of the penalty area on the right hand side, and it goes right into the heart of the area. Little knockdown, appeals for something. The ball ends up going behind the Aldershot goal, and it's been given as a goal kick. And looking at the reactions of all the players out there, I just wonder if that was probably a corner, Aaron. But anyway, the referee, let's give him the benefit of the doubt. If he's not sure, he's got to give it to the defending side.
Yeah, it looked like Luwu had a shot, and the speed that it went out of play, it looked like it must have taken a deflection, but yeah, the referee was having none of it.
All right, we'll update our radio listeners shortly, but in the meanwhile, Barnet are coming forward, but Haji Minogue's dispossessed Kanu. The ball's been picked up by Frost, who sends it out to the right, and then I thought a late tackle on a shot player, but they've kept possession, and Josh Stokes has got it on. He's approaching the edge of the area now, tries a ball to Harfield. Can he make room for a cross? Not yet. He comes back. Glover will pick up the ball. Glover inside to Tyler Frost. Frost pings it out to the right side to Haji Minogue. Minogue into the feet of Tolaj, who's been dispossessed by Barnet, and the ball's drifted away to the left-hand side where I think Kanu had gone all the way back and stroked it back to his keeper, and Barnet are now playing it across the back of their side. So neither side been able to get a clear sight of goal yet. Nearly 20 minutes in, Aaron.
Yeah, both teams are getting to the final third, and then it's just that final bit's lacking. But listen, both teams are probing and trying to unlock. You have to just say that both teams are defending fairly well at the moment.
That's Aaron McLean. I'm Rob Worrell. You listen to BBC Radio Surrey Sport, or watching the BBC app. I just picked up a yellow card there. I think it's for Haji Minogue, and I don't know if that's for the foul or some dissent afterwards. Where's your money, Aaron?
I'd say it was for the foul. You know, Zach Brunt had got past him, and as clever attackers do, you look to just cut across the defender so that they can't tackle you. You know, he just pushes him over, and I think it's a fairly easy one, that one, for the referee.
He's used to this, Minogue. First half bookings, I think he played with 4 of them last season on his first loan spell from Portsmouth. He's such a competitive player, but up until this point he's done okay playing on a yellow. He's a wholehearted player. Free kick for Barnet is played in towards the far post. It's headed down by an Aldershot player into the path of Armstrong, who comes back to Brunt. Brunt with the cross to the far post. Van Stappershoef comes, punches it away, finds Tyler Frost, plays it into a little bit of space on the right hand side. Barham chases it, gets his first touch, but I think it might be too heavy. Can he keep it in? He can't, and mainly because very cleverly the Barnet player tracking back, which was Reece Hall-Johnson, just made sure that he got his body in the way there, didn't he? Well,
Hall-Johnson's no slouch. You know, it was a good race between him and Barham. I think the ball forward needed to just be in the space in front of Barham so that he could run onto it. Instead, he had to take the touch. And then once he took that first touch, he was always off balance, and it favoured Hall-Johnson.
Here's Minogue picking the ball up just inside the Barnet half. Plays it back to Cian Harries. He tries a dummy. It doesn't come off, but Minogue picks it up well, and he's buffeted, but he gets back to his feet and carries on. And Aaron Jones plays it off of Armstrong into touch. Aldershot have tried to take it as a free kick, but it's actually a throw-in which Aaron Jones will take on the halfway line. We'll update our radio listeners shortly. There's been quite a lot of first half goals this evening. So Hartlepool are 1-0 up at Altrincham. Chesterfield 1-0 up at home to Halifax. Dorking are 1-0 up again against Wealdstone. James McShane back in the starting lineup tonight, and he's notched. And Gateshead are 2-0 up already against Kidderminster. And you wonder just how many they might go on and play. Absolutely brilliant against Aldershot in the week, but they defended well, and there's a ball forward from Dyche which is going to go all the way through to Laurie Walker. Oldham 1, York City 0. The battle of the two sides who have underachieved so far this season. Joe Nuttall with the goal there. Filed 1-0 up at Solihull as Barnet come forward with Brunt, plays the ball inside. It's cut out well by Glover, just gets a little toe on it, finds Harfield who plays it forward looking for Stokes, who beats Collins in a one-on-one, goes forward now. He's got a forward run from Barham, plays it into the path of Frost. Frost out to Tolaj. Can he get a shot away on his left foot? Makes room. Good block. Back out as far as Frost. Frost crosses it in. That's too heavy, and that'll drift into touch. In fact, behind the goal for a goal kick, and perhaps Aldershot's best attacking move so far, Aaron, but they couldn't find the finish.
Yeah, I think it was just the wrong decision. I think he could have gone on his own. Stokes there. If not, then maybe he could have played Barham earlier. You know, I think once he took that extra touch, then it started to close in, and the opportunity went begging, but definitely the best opportunity so far.
Brunt with a through ball, but Max Dyche well positioned, and Ollie Harfield there for support as well. Drifts behind the goal away to our right, and it remains just over the halfway stage of the first half. Barnet 0, Aldershot Town 0. Didn't know much about Max Dyche myself before he's joined Aldershot. Obviously got a bit of EFL experience, and he'll give competition for places in the back line. Initially come for a month. What about his dad? Did you know his dad went in the playing days or not?
A little bit, and I've I know him since he's been a manager, and he's a brilliant guy, brilliant. Very generous with his information and knowledge and his experiences of the game. He's definitely one that I respect highly.
Wow, Jordi van Stappershow has been shown a yellow for preparing to take a goal kick and then not taking it and going back again. And this happened on the weekend somewhere as well, and Aldershot have now picked up 3 yellow cards. That seems a little bit excessive. The referee's now coming over to the bench to give Tommy Widrington a yellow as well. And the referee's almost apologised as if to say, I'm sorry, but these are the new rules.
You see, this is where managers and players and us as in the media get frustrated, in that
they might start showing us yellow cards there.
I wouldn't be surprised. It's just common sense. For me, that's not time wasting. He sent everyone forward, put the ball down, bearing in mind, taking into consideration the conditions as well. So he's just waiting for the ball to settle before he can take the goal kick. Yeah,
it's really poor. It's poor decision from a human being point of view. That's what it is. And also, Aldershot Town haven't wasted a second in this game. They've been every bit as intense as Barnet. And so that shows a lack of appreciation of the game from the referee, who now gives a free kick against Harfield. And quickly Barnet are in on the right hand side with Armstrong, tries to get his cross in, it's half cleared away by Harries, up towards Barham, who can head it down but only into Pritchard's path. He clips the ball up in the air looking for Kabamba, who's battling away with Minoga. Header won by Aaron Jones. Clearance up in the air, not really going anywhere from Harries. Headed back in, headed out from Glover and forward from Aaron Jones. And I think Aaron and I are in complete agreement on that one. If there'd been time wasting and then the goalkeeper did that, fair enough, but there'd been none. And now Aaron Jones needs to be a little bit careful, because he's already on a yellow, and he's just... in fact, he's shown a yellow card now to Idris Kanu. Is the referee going for some sort of record here, Aaron?
Well, it seems that way, because so far some of the yellow cards that he's handing out, I can't understand what he's giving them out for. Sometimes as a referee, just take a moment. Just let the game breathe. If you need to give someone a warning, maybe do that. But the goalkeeper's booking and then that one for Idris Kanu was unnecessary.
Frost bursting through the middle. He's made 30 yards. Now he goes out to the left, gives it to Harfield. He goes back for the return as well, but that's slightly weighted wrong. And Barnet will clear their lines as far as Dyche. Dyche finds Glover, who turns it back inside looking for Dyche, but he can only find Armstrong. And Armstrong's got loads of space in mid. Just occasionally, this is the worry, this is the tendency, just occasionally for Glover and Frost. Very mobile, lots of runs forward, but just occasionally. That's a bit late there from Minoga. The referee hasn't spotted it, or he certainly hasn't given anything. And Barham's onto the ball at the other end. He's beavering his way down the right-hand side, sends it in. It's well cut out by Alowu. And it will be a throw-in to Aldershot, and fair play to Idris Kanu, who's got up and carried on, Aaron, but I think you and I saw clearly that Haji Minoga may be a lucky man.
Well, for me, that is more of a yellow card than any of the yellow cards that he's given today. And the referee's just totally let it go, whether it's because he's on a yellow card already or whether it's because he just hasn't seen it. I have no idea, but the referee's got that one wrong, and Minoga's lucky to still be on the pitch.
He certainly is. You know, regular listeners will know I always call it as I see it, whether it's for or against Aldershot. Minogue needs to be very careful from here on in. The referee giving him the benefit of the doubt there if he saw it at all. Here's Glover, Aldershot keeping the ball from a throw in. Now you give it to Dyche. You can make a little bit of ground forward. And now he looks for an option, clips the ball into the post, looking for Aaron Jones. He does really well to lift it over the keeper, and it's just wide. Brilliant acrobatic effort there from Aaron Jones, the captain. And he got it over Walker, and it must have just gone inches, maybe a foot at most, past Walker's right-hand post.
Really unlucky, you know, because he has to control it back over the goalkeeper's head, and he does it magnificently. Unfortunately for him, he just can't manage to keep it on target, and it just bounces wide. But best effort of the game so far.
Okay, we're going to update our radio listeners now. I am indeed. It is 0-0, but don't read anything into that. It's been a really intense game. Barnet, the home side, who've had things their way all season so far at home, have not had it all their way. Aldershot have been very, very competitive. The biggest talking point probably, George, is that the referee is literally wandering around waving yellow cards like confetti. He's given 3 yellows to Aldershot players, 1 to a Barnet player, 1 to Aldershot town manager Tommy Widrington, and we are 28 minutes in. A couple of them very dubious. I'll spare you the detail, but at the moment, at the Hive, it's Aldershot holding Barnet 0-0. And Barnet holding Aldershot 0-0 as well, let's be fair. Is a heavy touch from Barnet, but they've got the bodies there. Chesterfield went 2-0 up against Halifax. Halifax have pulled 1 back now. Ball over the top from Barnet. It's being chased by Armstrong. He may just get there and keep it in. He then falls on the floor and it goes behind. Off of Armstrong, and the assistant referee has given a corner to Barnet. Oh my word. We could see clear as a bell from here that Marvin Armstrong fell on the ball and it went off his back behind. But no, the assistant referee, who is about 7 yards away, gives a corner to Barnet.
Well, we said that the referee was having a little bit of a moment.
Yeah, well, I can't really.
One.
The assistant referee probably more to blame there, but anyway, it is a corner to Barnet. The referee wants to have a word with the pushing in the box. On this occasion, he talks with his mouth rather than his yellow card, and Brunt will send in a corner, left-footed. In the 31st minute, it's whipped to the far post. Big jump from Max Dyche. He gets his head on it and then possibly gets contact from a Barnet player. Possibly not. Either way, it's evened up and it's a goal kick for Aldershot Town. Aaron.
We got to the right decision in the end, but
yeah,
you know, the referee, and between him and the linesman, they made an absolute howler of that, and had that have ended up in the back of the net, they would I think there would have been a lot of unhappy people in this stadium for sure.
Oh, Stokes nearly got his toe onto a pass backwards from Hall Johnson, and it's eventually back with Laurie Walker, who hasn't been tested yet, although his heart will have been in his mouth, I'm sure, when Aaron Jones lifted that ball very acrobatically on the run towards goal. He's got 1 shots goal already this season as the Shots skipper. Been skipper in the side since the injury to Stuart O'Keefe. And Aldershot have suffered some poor luck again there. 3rd season running, they brought in 1 or 2 very experienced players, and one of them's got an injury early on. And you know, when you've got an average age so young as Aldershot have, you do need those experienced bodies around, don't you, Aaron?
You definitely do. You know, and that's always the danger when you are, you know, going with a young squad. That if you do lose 1 or 2 of the experienced ones, which you're always liable to do, then you know you find yourself a little bit thin. But looking at this Aldershot team tonight, you know, they look very good. They look alive. They look sharp and really bright. So I'm glad that I'm getting to see the proper Aldershot.
A bit more like the true Aldershot from this season.
You know, when I covered them against Eastleigh, I didn't get a true reflection of where Aldershot were at. But this is definitely a better idea, and they're up against a very good informed Barnet team.
Oh, good play from Armstrong, and he goes forward, plays the 1-2, sends the ball out to the left. Probably the best move of the night. Idris Kanu chips it in, and it's met at the far post by Hall Johnson, and he just can't quite steer it in. He just brushes the side net in, but definitely, Aaron, in the 33rd minute, the best attacking moment of the night from the home side.
Most definitely, that's the best chance of the evening so far. Idris Kanu with a delightful cross to the far post. Paul Johnson, I don't think he was expecting it to reach him, and then just ended up reacting and wasn't able to guide it on target. But yeah, just there was a sign of Barnet intentions that when they do get the ball forward and get Idris Kanu high up the pitch, that's what they can produce.
That's Aaron McLean. I'm Rob Worrell. You listen to BBC Surrey Sport, or the BBC Sport app, from the Hive in London, where it's high-flying Barnet who started the night in 3rd place, and they've won all 4 home games so far against Aldershot Town, who start the night in 14th place. Here's Zach Brunt picking up the ball in midfield, out left to Idris Kanu. He's one-on-one against Aaron Jones, one of 3 Aldershot Town players on a yellow card already. Overlapping run, goes for the return, tries to keep it in. It's snaffled away at the near post by Jordi van Stappershoef. It's going to come back in from Barnet. Header is on from a Barnet player, it goes behind, it'll be a goal kick. Now, interesting one. There's no doubt that Jordi didn't catch that cleanly, but didn't he recover well, Aaron?
Brilliantly. Recovered brilliantly, and he had to, otherwise that was going to end up in the back of the net. There were Aldershot players though, looking to go and throw themselves on the line and put their bodies in front of shots as well. So defensively they're doing really well, but Barnet have just stepped it up a gear in these last 2 or 3 minutes and starting to cause a few problems, especially down that left-hand side.
Long goal kick is plucked out of the air by Barnet players, but then picked up by Frost. He's come through the middle, tries the ball through to Barham. That doesn't come off. It does though break back to Frost. It goes back to Minoga, who squares it across to Ollie Harfield. Harfield, calm touch back into Dyche. He exchanges passes with Glover. Comes up towards halfway now, clips the ball into space, and again Barham's showing the running for it, but it's good calm defending from Alowu, who finds Hartigan, who we haven't mentioned too much. He's another season loan, 25-year-old from Mansfield, another one with the Football League experience. Barnet through the middle, flicked on by Kabamba to the edge of the area, and Armstrong's in, and it's a good point-blank save from Jordi van Stappershoef. And I wonder if Barnet probably should have taken the lead there. They're just starting to open Aldershot up a little bit in the last 5 minutes. Here they are on the right-hand side with Hall Johnson with the cross in, and it's plucked out of the skies by Jordi van Stappershoef. And if we get a chance after this goal kick, let's see where that ends up. It's towed back towards Laurie Walker. Your thoughts on that one, Aaron McLean?
Well, that was pretty direct from Barnet, up to Kabamba. Kabamba flicks it on, and Armstrong's in. But as he goes through, I never felt confident that he was going to score. That was the one where you just need to just think it over the goalkeeper. But Van Stappershoef, does really well, makes himself big, gets down quickly, and makes a really, really good save to keep this at 0-0. In
fairness to all summarisers this season, if you want to call him Jordi or Geordie,
yeah,
you're very welcome, because it's a bit of a mouthful, Van Stappershoef, and it ends up coming out as stop a shot or something like that,
Jordi sounds good to me.
Yeah, or the Dutchman in goal for Aldershot. Right, Barnet have got possession in their own half, so good spell for Barnet the last 5 or 6 minutes. A couple of clear-cut chances, and there hasn't been too many of those in tonight's game, and that's largely because both sides have been full of intensity and running, and you do wonder if, when they sort of look at things at half time, whether Brennan will try and exploit the fact that Aldershot are on 3 yellows already. Here's Barham, just dispossessed by Kanu. Kanu goes down now. Oh, it's going to be a sending off for Aaron Jones. Is it Jones? It's a second. It's a yellow for... It is. It's Aaron Jones who's been given a yellow. I thought he'd already been given a yellow, Aaron.
I think that's his first one. I think it's Minoga,
I beg your pardon.
Minoga that's running a tightrope.
Yeah,
now
absolutely.
It's just down that right-hand side for Aldershot now. Jones is on a booking.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. That's it. Beg your pardon. Thank goodness for that. I honestly thought he had got a yellow, but we'll just double-check that on social media as well. Barham was the one. Barham, Minoga and Van Stappershoef, whose yellow's not listed on social media. Here comes Barnet looking for a 1-2. Barnet player's gone down. Referee's given a free kick. And the referee, and Haji Minoga's the one who gave it away. The referee on this occasion is only given a free kick, but he's pointed, as I think he said something to Minoga, and he may well have said last chance.
Well, Minoga does need to be careful.
Yeah.
You know, he's putting some really good tackles today, but he's wholehearted in every single challenge. And when you're running a tightrope and you're up against clever players like Brunt, like Idris Kanu, sometimes you need to just steady yourself and not launch yourself into every single challenge. If he does that, he's going to find himself in trouble sooner rather than later.
That's Aaron McLean. I'm Rob Worrell. We're at the Hive in the National League. Barnet 0, Aldershot Town 0, but there's a free kick here. Hartigan sends it in. It's high and it's over the bar. And 6'5" Jordi van Stappershoef reached up and still couldn't touch it. So that was good enough for him, and it was good enough for me. And I would say, although Aldershot, their intensity's been really good, and they've done really well, I'd say, in the first half an hour of this game. There's no doubt in my mind that in the last 10 minutes, Aaron, Barnet have got on top, haven't they?
Yeah, in terms of chances, Barnet have had the lion's share of them. But you've got to say, away from home against you have to remember, Barnet have won all of those games. Yeah. They've won all of their games at home. So to put in the performance that Aldershot have so far, they just need to be a little bit more tidy in that final third. If they're able to do that and just try and carve out 1 or 2 opportunities for themselves, then they're very much in this game.
Here's Kean Harris kicking it into touch, and he might even clear. He has. He's cleared the stand over on the far side. That might be the first time I've seen that here. That's a hell of a hoof.
I don't even think I cleared the stand when I was here.
Not when you were shooting anyway, Aaron. No. The ball, they've quickly put another ball. There's definitely a system here at Barnet where they're sending balls straight back onto the pitch, aren't they, as soon as they go off. They want to make the most of every minute they've got at home, where they are, of course, a terrific side. Flick on from Minoga. It's difficult for Dice to read. And Barnet are onto the loose ball. It's picked up by Harries, who does really well, and he'll clear, but only as far as Hartigan. He sends it back in, and Van Stappershoef will get it under control. And Aldershot, I think, could probably do with half time here, just because something's clicked, something's changed for Barnet, and they're finding a way to get in quite regularly at the moment. Shots fan Colin Hayden in Tenerife says, "Hi Rob, does Aaron fancy a comeback for old time's sake?"
I don't think you'd want me anymore, that's for sure.
And Luke Edwards says, "Is Haji Minoga's nickname Kylie?" I don't think it is, but good thinking. Here's Barnet with the cross in from the left-hand side, and that's snaffled again by Jordi, who bowls it straight out to Glover. Glover gives the ball to Stokes, who gives it back to him. Glover carrying on forward. Go on, Ryan. There's no one with you, might as well keep going. Ball inside to Tyler Frost. One touch, tries a shot, left-footed. Not a bad effort on his wrong un. A little bit high, a little bit wide. Unlucky Tyler Frost, and good effort from the shots, Aaron.
Really good break. You know, good pace down this left-hand side. And then once Frost cuts inside, you think, go on, just hit the target. Good effort on his weak foot, but just couldn't guide it on target. But really good break, and that will give the Aldershot players a lot of confidence.
At the other end, very, very quickly, Aldershot put the ball behind for a corner. So we don't know how much added time. I reckon the ball's been in play more in this half than any other half of football I've watched this season. But we'll see what the referee adds on. Nothing will surprise us anymore, that's for sure. Dickie says, or Danny Minogue, of course. Other Minogues are available. Hartigan is going to take this corner right-footed, an outswinger on this occasion. Kabamba is there. In fact, it was a Luwu, beg your pardon. And Aldershot clear it only as far as Reece Hall-Johnson, who's the deepest lying Barnet player. He's going to send in a big diagonal ball out to the left-hand side, where Aaron Jones does really well to jump and get his head on it. It will be a throw to Barnet, level with the edge of the Aldershot Town penalty area. And 42 minutes on the clock. Barnet 0, Aldershot 0. Now Barnet spent ages and then changed the thrower over. I give it to you, that is as much time wasted as Jordi van Stappershoef did. Not that they're trying to any more than Aldershot were. Here's Pritchard holding it up on the left-hand side. Aaron Jones puts a foot in and misses. Thankfully he doesn't catch a player. In comes a left-footed cross from Barnet. It's cleared away by Glover, up towards Barham, who's doing his utmost to hold it. The ball breaks free, and nothing given by the referee on this occasion. Barnet continue with possession. Dyche puts pressure on Armstrong. He goes back to Collinge. Collinge into a little channel for Hall Johnson. Can he get a cross in? No, says Ollie Harfield. And watching Aldershot this season compared to last, they're doing so much more to stop crosses coming in, and you can see that's been worked on, Aaron.
Yeah, definitely. You know, in both the right back areas and left back areas, they're really getting up against their men and stopping balls coming into the box. And Jordi will be grateful for that for sure.
We're in the 44th minute. It's just started. Zach Brunt's going to take a corner, left-footed. Is he going to play it short to Carnu? He is. Carnu's going to give it back to him. Brunt comes back on his right foot. Stokes tries to make a tackle and can't. Idris Carnu into the air to the far post. Header downwards, and it's that man again, Danny Collinge. 5th goal of the season. He's stayed up. He's got on the end of it. And 1 minute before half-time, the home side have got it their way again. Barnet 1, Aldershot 0.
Well, we just spoke about how well Aldershot have done in stopping crosses. This time it's from a corner. It's a short corner, but they only send one defender up. So Zach Brunt and Idris Carnu know they're 2 against 1. They work it really well, and Carnu ends up being able to get a free cross and just dinks it into the middle. Collins does what he's been doing all season, gets ahead of his man and gets a header on target into the corner of the goal. Really well worked corner from a Barnet perspective, but definitely one that could have been prevented from an Aldershot perspective.
You do wonder, looking at their previous 4 home games, if Barnet have been tested perhaps more tonight than they have in those other 4, but they do have a lead again. It's the 9th time they've taken the lead in games this season, in just their 10th game. And heartache for the Shots, who've played pretty well in this first half and had the odd moment going forward themselves, but just been very lively, very competitive. But Barnet have found a way, and that's what good sides do. And as it stands, Barnet have the lead. Long throw over the top. Aluwu could touch it back, but he hooks it over his head forward, finds Pritchard. The ball breaks and very nearly broke to an Aldershot player, but it will go to Barnet. Collins clears. There'll just be 3 added minutes. Harfield leaves it, goes all the way through to Jordi, and Jordi throws it out to Ryan Glover. So we're into a minimum of 3 added minutes at the end of the first half, and Dyche is under pressure. He's under pressure there from a Barnet player, Armstrong, who I thought probably just got away with a little bit of a nibble there as he did it, but again, referee plays on. Barnet, perhaps the smarter of the 2 sides. Glover then comes in and wins the ball. Goes back to Harfield. He plays it up towards Tolaj. He can only chest it into touch in front of Aaron and myself. Hartigan gives the ball to Hall Johnson, who throws it down the line. Harfield not sure whether to deal with it or not. He does deal with it. He hooks it away over his head. Pritchard heads it up in the air. Glover gets contact on it, but can only find Hartigan. Hartigan out to the right-hand side to Hall Johnson. Hall Johnson cuts in, then he goes back out. Now he finds Armstrong. Armstrong back to Collinge. Collinge with the ball inside to Hartigan. Has one touch, clips the ball into the far post. Another header on target from Kabamba and snaffled at the second attempt by Jordi van Stapperscherf. The first opening of the night for Kabamba. He took it. It was a difficult chance on his head. He was only, 4 or 5 yards inside the penalty area, and it was quite low, stooping header, and Jordi was equal to it.
I don't think he needs to go with his head there.
No,
you can see it coming all the way. It's a fantastic ball into him, and I think that's the one that you just get a good connection side foot, and I think if he does, then it ends up in the back of the net. Instead he opts to go for the diving header, and Jordi makes a really good save, but I think he'll be disappointed with that one because that should be 2-0 Barnet.
We're 10 seconds away from the minimum added time. Barnet coming forward. Dyche puts his foot through it. It'll bounce around the high line of the Barnet defence. Aluwu, an offside given against Aldershot, even though none of their players have touched the ball. That's a very odd one. There's been a few odd decisions in this first half, but Walker's going to kick straight down the middle now, knowing there's only a few seconds left. Kabamba flicks on. It's a smart turn against Dyche from Armstrong, who maybe has got away with one a minute ago and maybe will feel he might have got something more there, but the referee at least is being consistent in those decisions. Harfield on the ball, he goes back to Van Stappershoef, who's conceded his first goal back in the shots lineup this afternoon. I think it was a quite brilliant header from an in-form Collins down into the ground. I don't think there was much chance for Yordi in the Aldershot Town goal, and Collins, well, he's in a rich vein of form, isn't he?
Yeah, he is. He's playing out of his skin. You know, he's done well in the defensive aspect, but like I say, he's popping up with valuable goals, and any team that wants to try and get promotion has to find more sources of goals, and Dean Brennan's side have found that through Collins.
All right, quick wrap up from myself and Aaron. I'll do a half-time report to radio. In fact, probably sooner rather than later. So let me just touch on a couple of scores. Aaron, I'll say to you, what have James, Jason and Josh all got in common? I don't know if you'll know the answer.
No idea.
They've all scored for Dorking tonight, who are 3-0 up against Wealdstone. Heading for back-to-back wins at Meadowbank today. To Dorking, so terrific first half from them. Altrincham have equalised against Hartlepool. It's 0-0 between Bournemouth and Rochdale, not half-time yet. Still Chesterfield 2, Halifax 1. Dagenham and Bromley is 0-0. Dorking 3, Wealdstone 0, I've said. Eastleigh 1, Oxford City 0. Quigley with the goal there. Not too many for him this season so far. Gateshead 2, Kidderminster 0. Dinanga and Ollie on the score sheet. Gateshead getting back to doing what they do. Oldham 1, York 0. Joe Nuttall with the goal there. And Solihull Moors have come from behind. 1-0 down at home to Fylde, but Cade Craig, the awfully named Cade Craig, Josh Kelly have got goals there for them. Southend and Maidenhead, somehow, Southend I think only had 12 players available tonight. Let's have a look. No, they've got 13 players, 2 subs for Southend, who were 0-0 at half-time against Maidenhead. And it's Woking 1, Ebbsfleet 0. Jim Kellerman, the ex-shot, with a goal in the 43rd minute. And the reason I've done those scores first, Aaron, is I'm just waiting for them to come to me for a half-time report. I'm hearing about Dorking going 3-0 up against Wealdstone, which has to be the most eye-catching scoreline of the first half. So we're going to break it to our radio listeners now that the shots are behind. Yes, there has been a goal, and the home side, who've had it all their own way at the Hive this season, have found a way, as difficult as it's been for them in the first half. Just had a little period of getting in once too often as far as Aldershot are concerned, and a very intelligently taken short corner, and Brunt and Carnu combining together, and Carnu lifted a lovely ball into the far post where Collins was up, the centre back, to head powerfully downward home, his 5th goal of the season. And so the Bees are ahead here at half time, George. Barnet 1, Shots 0. Right, finally, Aaron, 5 minutes after the half time whistle's gone, your thoughts on the first half as here at the Hive?
Well, I think that Aldershot it was a brilliant away performance from Aldershot to, for the first 30 minutes, they controlled things in terms of getting in amongst Barnet, not allowing Barnet to take control of the game. But as the game progressed, Barnet all of a sudden just started to raise the tempo a little bit, change gear a little bit, and then all of a sudden they start creating opportunities, and probably as they go in at half time we'll feel that they probably could be more than just the single goal lead. Yeah,
I'd agree with that. I think we've seen a half of two halves. 30 minutes, absolutely nothing in it, and then from that point on, Barnet really in charge. Other than that one break where Tyler Frost had a little pop with his left foot, struck it pretty well for his wrong, but it was always just too high and too wide. Someone else who sends their regards to you, who I know you'd want to give your best wishes to. So the Aldershot Town Club photographer Ian Morseman, who isn't here tonight, Aaron. He's recovering with some health issues. He's able to get to the home games at the minute, but doctor's orders he can't travel away. But he sends his regards to you, and I'm sure you'd like to do the same.
Absolutely. Ian, great guy, brilliant guy, and yeah, I send my best wishes to him as well. Hopefully I get to see him very, very soon, and he can take some can take some pictures for me. You know, he knows I love it. I'm not shy of a picture or two.
We'll have to take a selfie, I think, today at half time to get one, but not to worry. Dickie's just come back to us, Dickie from the NL Full-Time Podcast, and says Southend managed to sign 2 free agents, goalkeeper David Martin and XB Mauro Villette. Now, Villette is a handy little signing, isn't he, Aaron?
That is a good signing. Yeah. Do you know what? They make some shrewd signings, Southend. You know, and listen, the situation that they're in, everyone's very much aware that it's a situation that, for the good of football, needs to be sorted out sooner rather than later, and hopefully they get the outcome that they deserve. But you know, for them to be able to go out on the pitch and still be performing at the level that they are is credit to everyone involved, especially Kevin Mayer, who obviously leads that ship. You know, they're doing a magnificent job in the most difficult of circumstances. But I really do hope that they get that situation sorted and get the club sold so that they can start, you know, the next project and bring put a smile on those Southend fans' faces, because they deserve it.
I don't think anybody wants to see this, and you know, there's a little bit of history between Aldershot and Southend. It's not much, it's just the fact that they were going for the title a few years ago and 2-0 up at the EBB, and the floodlights failed, and when it was replayed, Aldershot won it. But that aside, I think most people I know in football wouldn't wish this on their worst enemies, what's happening to Southend. 7 days from now, they're due to play at the EBB Stadium. I think they're up in court again tomorrow for something or other. It's not the big one. I think that comes early in October. You do have your doubts if something doesn't happen, if Southend are actually going to finish this season, and that's a subject matter that is dear to the hearts of long-term Aldershot FC supporters, who I think probably were one of the last clubs ever to go bust during a football season. Just a quick word, Aaron, on the National League as a whole. Chesterfield were heavy favourites. We had a little bit of a chat about it, didn't we, on the podcast a couple of weeks ago, but they've got to the top now, and I don't know if it's too early for you to stick your tweet out or not.
It's definitely too early.
Yeah.
You know, for me, Chesterfield are doing it the hard way. They're not convincing enough for me at the moment. You know, still conceding a lot of goals, scoring late winners. At some point, you know, they have to tighten up, because you can't go for a season conceding the amount of goals that they are. But at the moment, it's working for them. They've managed to get themselves to the top, but I think that they're going to be pushed all the way this season by a number of teams. I'm
not a big fan of live league tables, but given that it doesn't particularly affect Aldershot, the top end, interesting to note that Chesterfield, Solihull, Barnet, Woking and Gateshead, the top 5, are all winning at half time this evening. The Shots started the evening in a sort of relatively healthy mid-table position, but it's tough. You can come here and compete as well as they have against Barnet this evening, and you know, defend well as well all over the pitch, but and get on the front foot too. But to get results at places like this, when you get your little half chances, you've got to tuck them away. And I mean, I can't really criticise Aaron Jones, who I thought did spectacularly well to even get an effort in on goal, or Tyler Frost, who decided to have a pop with his wrong foot. But Barham and Tolaj, for all their work rate, they've got to be intelligent enough to make the right run or have the right touch or turn and create a chance for themselves, haven't they?
Yeah, they do. Listen, the strikers are the release valve for any team. And in order to relieve some of the pressure that they're having to soak up, you know, you need that moment of quality to just go and make something out of nothing. You know, a half chance, you put it in the back of the net, and all of a sudden now everyone can relax. And unfortunately, that for Aldershot, they've not been able to do that. They've not really been able to carve out any clear opportunities that can relieve the pressure for the Aldershot defenders. They're performing really well. You know, you can take nothing away from their work rate, their desire, their application has all been first class. But in terms of creating clear-cut opportunities, you know, Barnet have shown that they've got that cutting edge when they get in that final third. They've got the players to be able to just give that killer pass and put the ball in the back of their net. And, you know, Nicky Kabamba, the man who we've tipped to be top goal scorer, You know, he hasn't even got on the score sheet yet, but they've created an opportunity for him that he should have stuck in the back of the net. So
yeah, me and you, I think both. I mean, we've got something in common. We're both ex-strikers. I obviously didn't play at your level. The highest I ever got was the United Counties League. But as a striker, I was looking at that and thinking, you've got to volley that. It's too far out and the wrong angle to get a power on your header, isn't it?
yeah, and listen, Nicky's very good with his head. So
Yeah.
as it comes over, maybe the conditions, you know, we're not out on the pitch, so sometimes from the stand it looks totally different to what it's really like on the pitch. So maybe because of the conditions it held the ball up a little bit, and he'd already made his mind up that he was going to go with his head, you know. But from where we're sitting, as that ball is being flighted over, I'm looking and thinking, right, a side foot finish into the corner of the goal. If he does that, he probably scores, and Barnet are looking comfortable.
Right, we've worked you hard enough, probably too hard. I said to Aaron before we got started that just quick wrap up at half time, then you can go stretch your legs. We'll speak to you again in the next 3 or 4 or 5 minutes, whatever's left of half time, listeners. Half time scoreline here at the Hive. Barnet 1, Aldershot Town 0. Thank you, mate. That one's still on. That microphone's still on, but great stuff. Are you okay with everything?
Yeah, all good.
Aaron, can I get a quick selfie with my boy? He loves you. On FIFA 16 he plays it. He loves you. Cheers, mate.
Nice one.
Thank you.
Cheers, man. Yeah, we haven't even had
Get your headphones back on, right? Look the part.
Will you send that to me? And I'll
I'm at that age now where we can
My boy just sent me back when I sent him the picture.
You guys were sat here last season, weren't you? I remember. You like this little spot, do you?
No, but last year because he's in a wheelchair.
Oh, fair enough. Fair enough.
Nah, it's not too bad round this side.
It's all right, isn't it? I prefer to be one level up as well.
Yeah,
myself.
it's a lot better sitting here than sitting
Yeah,
down there.
we're nice and close, but I would just put like that little bit more elevation. You can't always appreciate the depth of the passes and things. Mind you, I'd rather be sat here than at Gateshead. Above the tunnel there, about 70 yards from the edge of the pitch. I made my commentary debut there as well. 7 or 8 years ago. That was my first game, and I got up there and I was like, oh my god, I've got to do this for the first time, and I've got to recognise the players. Ironically, that day it was Aldershot that played by Barcelona, like last time. They scored a goal with 28 passes. It was Reece Brown that you know, he plays for both. Yeah. And they lost that game.
0-0 still, yeah?
Every season they start off, they win 3 or 4 on the trot, and then they lose through it. Every season.
I don't think this season they're going to be.
No.
I just don't think they've got enough this year. And they've gone young.
Yeah, they've got everyone, haven't they?
And everyone's done brilliant. Skipping it.
Done really well.
He's done brilliant.
Is he skipping now? Wow.
Made him captain. But then, they've got a few players that want out. Clark Harris, which is obviously.
Yeah, he missed the deadline. That was a terrible video.
So I think that this season is just about bringing some of the younger ones. Kipriano has been brilliant. So this season he's kicked on. There's 1 or 2 others that they're looking at thinking, you know what? Probably a season just mid-table or challenging for the playoffs. They'll be better. They'll be in a better place to come next season. So yeah, I don't think they're expecting promotion. Crazy that we don't follow each other.
One of those weird things, the first time I spoke to you was a bit of a weird conversation. I go back that far, so I've watched you countless times. And I've still yet to get out. I will to get out. Somewhere I'm going to find a photo I've got of me with you on my wall when they were like 7 and 5. And then obviously I've got you at Peterborough alone. Because what Peterborough did really well, they, during that season of the championship, under 16s was 73 quid for a season ticket. Just at the age that my boys were having to get on the bus or train with their mates and go and watch them. And they're in for life.
Every club should do that.
They should do that.
Every club should do that because they don't realise that. You're not making the huge amounts of money that season, but you're creating
Support base of the future. Isn't it?
Exactly.
Right, listeners, we're back live from the Hive. Rob Worrell and Aaron McLean, who's formerly played for Aldershot and Barnet. National League action, Barnet right up in the top echelons of the league. They've really had to work hard for the slender lead that they've got. They got it just a couple of minutes before half time when Carnu and Brunt worked together on a short corner and Collinge headed home. I mentioned not too long before that to Aaron McLean that Aldershot had done really well at stopping crosses. But Barnet, by hook or by crook, they seem to find a way to still get them in. So let's go through the lineups again. I don't think we've got any half-time substitutions from either side. So Barnet, Laurie Walker in goal, Potter, Aluwu and Collins, the 3 centre-backs. Carnu and Hall Johnson, the wing-backs. Hartigan and Armstrong in the middle, with Harry Pritchard as well. Probably a little bit more of a free role for him. And Kabamba, supported by Zach Brunt. Kabamba, the top scorer in the National League, just the 1 chance so far, not too long before half-time, headed it straight at Jordi van Stappershoef. The shots, Van Stappershoef in goal, Harries, Minoga and Dice, the 3 centre-backs, Harfield and Jones, the wing-backs, Glover and Frost in midfield, Josh Stokes behind Tolaj and Barham. And a reminder that Aldershot have had Aaron Jones, Jack Barham, Jordi van Stappershoef and Tommy Widrington all given yellow cards already, and just the 1 yellow card shown to Barnet's Idris Carney. We have a free kick on halfway given to Barnet, just as a lot of the Aldershot Town players thought it was going to go to Aldershot. And referee Aaron Farmer, who had shown 21 yellows in his first 4 games, so an average of just over 5, has already done 5 in the first half here at the Hive. Aldershot have won the ball back in their own half with Glover. Harfield plays it forward. Tolaj will battle against Aluwu, who plays the ball back to his keeper. It's a bit heavy. Barham has a sniff, but he can't get there. Walker clears. Glover does really well to win it in the air. There's a heavy touch from Frost. Ball's brought down by Kabamba, but not the best touch from him. And then Aldershot win it. Frost goes for the second ball. He's brought to the ground by Pritchard, but Pritchard wins the ball cleanly. Plays it inside to Zach Brunt, and Brunt finds Hartigan. The wind's getting up again here at the Hive. I'm holding everything down, except Aaron, but he's holding himself down, so that's good. Here's Collins with a cross. It's to the far post, and not sure if it's Armstrong, but somebody, Armstrong jumped, just skimmed off the top of his head, didn't it, Aaron? What a wicked whipped ball that was from Collins.
Well, it was a magnificent delivery. You know, he just used the wind. He didn't have to put too much pace on it. The pace was already on it, and Armstrong just isn't able to guide it on target. You know, that's all he needed to do was guide it on target, but unfortunately for him, it skidded off his head and went wide. But brilliant delivery.
Can the Shots get themselves back in this one? Ball's drifting away into touch and put some smiles on the faces of the 172 Shots fans away to our right. Here's Jones coming forward, finds Frost. Frost into a pocket of space on the right hand side where he hoped Tolaj would be, and he wasn't. The overall crowd, 1,321. Barnet, as competitive as they are at the top end of the league, don't have the biggest crowds, do they, Aaron? It's midweek, the Champions League started tonight. It's a bit blustery and cold, and they will, though, be disappointed with that crowd, I'm sure.
Yeah, no doubt. You know, I think that Barnet, for where they're situated, it's always going to be difficult when, you know, if any London clubs are playing, or when there's Champions League football on a Tuesday night. It's always difficult for them to attract the crowds.
Minoga finds Frost on the right hand side, holds it up, tries to get a cross in, hits the Barnet player but comes back to him. Now he goes back to Aaron Jones. Jones can square it into his two centre backs that are waiting. Kean Harris drags a ball on the floor and gets his pass wrong, and Marvin Armstrong cuts it out. That's poor from Harris, and Barnet on the counter attack now with Hall Johnson. He's bombed past Dyche, squares the ball in, and it was a cross, but it's gone all the way in. I'm sure it was a cross, and it's caught Jordi van Stappershoef out, and it's gone right across the front of him and nestled in at the far post. Barnet 2, Aldershot Town 0.
When that cross has come in, I think it's Kabamba that's got on the end of it, and he's just
has he just got a touch?
I think Kabamba's just guided it into the far post.
Right, that's
It was a magnificent break down the right hand side. Hall Johnson shows a clear set of heels to the defender, whips the ball in, and then Kabamba has the easiest task of just guiding it on target, and he does it brilliantly. Guides it into the corner. 9th goal of the season, and keeps himself at the top of that top goal scorers chart, and gives Barnet a 2-0 lead.
Yeah, fantastic spot there from Aaron. The ball was whipped in really low, and it totally deceived Jordi. I didn't spot that little clever deft touch from Nicky Kabamba. His 9th goal of the season in his 10th game, and his 2nd chance of the night. One just before half time, one just after. And I'm getting some memories back to last year. I'm sure Aldershot started that game quite well, went 1-0 down just before half time, and I think found themselves 3-0 down within 10 minutes of the second half, and it's going very similarly. 2-0 now.
It is, and it's difficult. It's difficult for Aldershot because Barnet will come out with even more confidence after going in at half time with a 1-0 lead, finishing that half really strongly. They've come out and they've picked up where they left off, and getting that second goal so early into the second half will only make things even harder for the Aldershot players, and you know, almost demoralise them. Barnet will be looking to try and go on and get another.
Shots through the middle. Barham picks up the ball. He's into the area, shoots. It's saved by the feet of Laurie Walker. He may have passed right to Tolaj. He went for the shot, and Walker was equal to it. The best chance of the night for Shots coming just 2 minutes after they'd gone 2-0 down. Tolaj is rolling his head. He can't believe it. He wanted a straightforward pass. Barham, I think, as a striker, is always going to have the shot there. Aaron, what was your take on that?
Well, they found themselves 2 against 1, you know, and when Barham receives the ball, you're looking and you're thinking, okay, if you're going to go on your own, you have to score, you know, but he never looks convincing with his strike. You know, his strike, it's not in the corner. It just hits it straight at the goalkeeper, and the goalkeeper's able to just stay big and keep it out. Really, really disappointing, and that was a moment that could have totally changed, you know, flipped the game on its head if that nest was in the back of the net. All of a sudden, the Aldershot players have a new belief and a newfound confidence. If anything, it has the opposite effect when those opportunities don't go in.
And things are about to go from bad to worse for Aldershot, who've got a player down injured. Now, I can't confirm. I think it might be Max Dyche. He's the one player I can't see at the minute. He's down inside the centre circle. The signal's already been given to say, yeah, it is Max Dyche. He's getting to his feet, but they've already signalled that he's going to have to come off. So they've obviously diagnosed what the problem is. And just over halfway through his second game for Aldershot Town in a month's loan spell, sadly Aldershot are going to lose, I think here, another experienced player. He looks like the look on his face is he's just questioning whether he might be able to continue, Aaron.
Well, if he's anything like his dad, he'll definitely want to stay out there, you know. And if it's sometimes the physio has to save the player from himself, you know. You don't want to end up staying out and doing yourself more damage. So dependent on what the actual injury is, you know, he might just have to come off, get some treatment on it, and hopefully he's fit and ready to go for Saturday. But disappointing for the lad, because he looks like he wants to stay on, but I don't think in this situation it would be wise.
I think Aldershot are going to I see exactly what they're going to do. Ollie Harfield's going to come into the back three on the left hand side, Harris to the middle, Minoga to the right, and Ollie Scott is then going to come on and be the replacement for Dyche, and he's going to go into the left wing back position, which he's occupied in the last two games. And an understandable change there from Tommy Widrington.
Yeah, you know, and I think it's probably a positive as well. You know, I think that it might give them an outlet now down the left hand side, with Ollie Scott be able to try and get forward and down that left hand side and get some delivery into the box. It's never good to see players having to come off through injury, especially with Dyche only just coming in. You know, he would have liked to have got a number of games under his belt, but when one player comes out, it gives someone else an opportunity.
Here's Barnet into their stride now. There's a back pass, well cut out by Clover, goes back to Geordie van Stappershoff. He's a bit lackadaisical with his clearance, but he does make good contact. Up towards Stokes, who has not been able to really impose himself on the game as much as he'd like. Ball played up to him then and he couldn't quite control it. He battles away and the ball ends up in touch off of him. Those of you that may have heard Aaron and I chatting at half time about Peterborough being 0-0 against Cheltenham, I can tell you that your old club's taken the lead now. And Barnet have doubled their lead here, and the Shots have had to make a change. So it's not going too well now for the Shots. Very promising first half an hour tonight, but make no mistake, listeners, this is a very, very good Barnet side. It's the real deal. I think they're going to push away at the top end of this table this season throughout, because Dean Brennan is a very good manager, and he's just tweaked it year on year. Made the playoffs last year, didn't he, Aaron? And it just came short in that London derby against Boreham Wood in the semi-finals, but he's strengthened again, hasn't he?
He has. And you know, I always say, I spoke to Dean Brennan at the beginning of last season, and he was confident that they were going to have a promotion push. He felt that he'd put together a squad and a environment that these players would thrive in, and they managed to get to the playoffs. This season, they've definitely kicked on another gear. They definitely look more equipped to be able to challenge, not just for the playoffs, but to really go and have a push for the title, because there's no one in this team that is as well balanced from the back to front as Barnet are, and they're proving it week in, week out.
Tolaj fouls Collins just 10 yards inside to Barnet's half. They can go how they want now. They can keep up the assault, they can vary the tempo, they can kill the game if they want to, Barnet. They've now scored 13 goals in just over 4.5 home games. Aldershot, to be fair, have scored 13 goals at home as well this season, but they haven't had a lot of joy on the road. Partly that's been due to sendings off, and they are walking a bit of a tightrope here with 3, 4 if you count Widrington, manager on yellows at the moment. Here's Frost battling away with Stokes, who does really well to get away from 2 men. Then what do we do? Cameron himself then plays it out to Barham, and Aluwu reads it better than Barham, goes back to Walker. Not the best clearance, sliced up in the air, but it falls kindly for Brunt, who plays the ball into the path of Armstrong, who's got such explosive power when he gets on the ball in midfield. And now Barnet settle into a pattern of play again, and they get it to Kabamba, 40 yards out, pokes it out to the left side to Idris Kanu. Can he make room for another one of those beautiful crosses? Onto his right foot, running around the edge of the area, back onto his left foot. Now the cross, cut out by Jones. Kanu battling for it again. Back, crossed in, and Harries clears it away up towards Tolaj, who's beaten to it too easily by Collinge. And then Harfield clears away, and Tolaj now can have the battle he wants to have against Collinge. On the left-hand side, Collinge does really well, wins the ball back. Tolaj loses his rag in the end and wrestles him to the floor, pulling him up with his arm. And to be honest, that for me is as much worth a yellow as 1 or 2 of the yellows the referee's given, but he decides, having checked his average at half-time, to keep his card in his pocket.
Yeah, he doesn't want to put his average up too much. You know, listen, those last 2 passages of play for Aldershot kind of sum up, you know, what's happening for them in an attacking sense in this game. You know, the first one where Stokes gets free and the ball to Barham's not good enough, and then that one there, Tolaj gets away, and then Collins just defends really well.
Sorry, Aaron, Manoga with a good ball. Stokes shoots, great shot, best effort of the night, and parried behind for a corner. That's a little bit more of the Josh Stokes I wanted you to see, Aaron. Good work from him there.
Brilliant. You know, that time he has one thing in his mind. He wants to get his sight of goal and then unleash it, and it's a magnificent strike. It's going into the top right-hand corner, but really good save from the keeper.
Walker keeping the shots out. In comes the corner from Harfield. Tolaj in goal. Shots have got one back. Tolaj has got his first goal since the start of the season, and Laurie Walker's been shown a yellow card, but Aldershot Town won't care. They're back in this game, Aaron, and it's Laurent Tolaj with his 3rd goal of the season and his first ones since the opening day.
Brilliant header. You know, just out-muscles his defender, gets a flick, and all he needs to do is guide it on target. You know, again, the pace is on the ball. All you need to do is get good connection on it. He guides it into the far corner and gets Aldershot within a goal. Really, really good.
Excellent stuff from the Shots, whose supporters have piped up again over the far side, 172 of them, and we may just have a competitive match. When I just wondered, Aaron, you know, with Aldershot having to reorganise, going a 2nd goal down, I wondered if this one might fizzle out a bit, but they've given themselves something to go for now. But so's Kabamba, who's onto a ball over the top on the left channel, gives the ball back to Kanu. Kanu's into the penalty area. Brennan's not happy that they didn't thrust forward and have a go on goal there, but they've come back to Pritchard. Pritchard with a cross to the far post, well won in the air by Kean Harries, picked up by Hartigan, battling away with Stokes. It's another assist for Ollie Harfield from the corner, and in the end Barnet fizz one across the pitch too far ahead of everybody, and it goes into touch, and I think it's gone out for a throw into Shots in the right back position. Just trying to rack my memory. The TV footage that we were getting a minute or so afterwards seems to have packed up on us, just as Aldershot scored a goal. Just their luck, Aaron.
It's always the way.
Yeah, but certainly back in it, and it was a well taken header, wasn't it? And Aldershot scoring from a set piece, something they've been more used to conceding from. Haji Minoga heads away, ball taken down nicely on his chest by Hartigan, and then lifted into touch. And the stadium's gone a little bit quiet, hasn't it? Understandably so.
Yeah, and that's what Aldershot needed. Aldershot needed to somehow try and silence the crowd. You know, at the Barnet players came out second half with their tails up, got the 2nd goal, and then it was just they needed to create a moment, and Stokes produced that first moment with that shot. And to get the corner.
Here's Reece Hall-Johnson doing really well on the right hand side again, managed to get his cross in. It's cleared away as far as Collinge. He sends a cross in. That's headed away by Aaron Jones. Frost heads it on. Pritchard will pick it up, and Barnet will come again with Brunt. Brunt's ball is cut out well by Aaron Jones. And I'm so pleased that the Shots have got themselves something out of this game. The supporters have got something to cheer, because they have competed really well in it. There's no doubt that Barnet do look the better side, and they've created the more chances. But the Shots still battling away gamely there. Is Minoga taken down by Brunt. That will be a free kick and nothing more, according to the referee, who's now shown his 6th card of the afternoon, or the evening, sorry, to Laurie Walker. Don't know whether that was for dissent, I presume, after the goal, complaining about something.
Yeah. Listen, it could have been for anything. It could have been for him time wasting again. With this referee, you're never too sure. But Aldershot are definitely back in this game. You know, they've got a new belief now. Stokes is starting to make things happen. They need to try and get him on the ball more, and then can he release Barham, can he release Tolaj and get another one back?
That's Aaron McLean, I'm Rob Worrell. We're coming to you live from the Hive, where it's Barnet 2, Aldershot Town 1, and 1 or 2 goals have been going in the second half. Altrincham are 2-1 up against Hartlepool now. Boreham Wood went behind to Rochdale Cairo Mitchell, but Tyrone Marsh has equalised there. Oh, there's a ball missed by Harries, and Brunt picks it up, and Harries does really well to recover and poke his foot in and win it back. Glover with the ball out to the right hand side to Tolaj. Now he might make room for a shot with his left foot here. Oh, he gives it away, and Carnew's quickly back there to recover the ball. And Carnew coming away from Tolaj now. Strong challenge from Minoga on halfway, takes the ball, takes the man as well, and the referee says, yep, just a throw. I've seen Tolaj enough to know what he was going to try and do there, but so did the Barnet defender. He knew, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. He read it really well. And, you know, Tolaj there, if he could have got his yard and got his shot in, then he has every opportunity of scoring. But I don't mind that from him. You know, that's what you want from a striker, especially when that's already got himself on the score sheet. Go and be positive. Not every chance you get, you're going to be able to score with, but go and be positive and try and make something happen.
Yeah, Idris Carnew can't keep the ball in, away to our left, so it's a throw in to the Shots halfway inside their own half. Dagenham and Redbridge 0, Bromley 1. Corey Whiteley with that goal. Bromley, another team in that top 5 or 6 that are now winning on the night. And Eastleigh 1, Oxford City 0. Gateshead now 3-0 up against Kidderminster. Regan Booty, another ex-shot with that goal there. Still Oldham 1, York 0. Ball's back with the Barnet centre-backs. Aldershot have won it though. Frost into Tolaj, and it's a poor pass, but they'd won it in the right place, and they had the players bombing forward, and there's a clever little ball round the corner from Brunt to find Carnew, who comes in at the other end, and I'm not sure if he's trying for a cross, but he didn't get hold of it right. Aaron, shots in again, and Stokes and Tolaj available, and Frost didn't get the pass quite right, did he?
It's just that final ball that's letting them down at the moment. Barnet are being really lax in their defending at the moment. You know, the goal came from poor defending. That opportunity, you know, I think that's the second or third time where poor defending from Barnet has allowed Aldershot to get in, but they've just not made the most of it.
Performance-wise, against a side as good as Barnet, and with the wretched record Aldershot have got here at the Hive, I think it's so long since they won here. I don't think they've won in the last 5 or 6 seasons. They've on to that one. Barham heads it into the path of Tolaj. Ball breaks clear. Harfield's got it. Has to turn away from Armstrong. Goes back to Harries. Now Harries clips the ball forward. That's not great. It's cut out easy by Finlay Potter. Harries then heads again, and Haji Minoga will hook it forward. And Tolaj will come over, and that's a poor ball, and away from Barnet. Frost finds Tolaj, finds Glover. Glover turns, spreads it inside to Harfield, who's over halfway. Ebbsfleet have equalised at Woking, but the Shots are back in this here and pressing for an equaliser. Barnet 2, Shots 1. Tolaj with his 3rd goal of the season. Glover into Frost, gets it back from his midfield partner. Now is he going to go out the left side to Harfield? No, he comes through the middle to Barham. Is Barham going to try a shot from distance? He does, it's blocked. Only comes as far as Aaron Jones. Back to Barham, and he pings a shot over the bar and into a roundabout row M of the empty stand away to our right, well, empty apart from the last section where the Shots fans are. Armstrong's coming off, and he is going to be replaced, Aaron, by number 7, Courtney Senior. Your thoughts on that one?
Well, I can see it. I think he's just looking to freshen it up, Dino. I don't think that he's happy with the last 10 minutes. Aldershot getting far too many opportunities, and you know, it is only a matter of time if you keep giving that many opportunities away that they're going to score. So I think he just wants to shore things up a little bit, give a little bit more of an attacking impetus.
Here's a bit of hope for Shots fans. Barnet have only had one draw this season, and they were 3-0 up against Eastleigh, and that ended up 3-3. So there will be some nerves amongst the Barnet faithful here at the Hive. Barnet 2, Shots 1, and the Shots have had their best spell probably of the match just before and after the goal that Tolaj has got. And here's Stokes looking to press Collins, who comes forward now. Good hold-up play from Kabamba. Glover coming over, trying to win it. Haji Minogue's won it anyway. Skips inside of his man. Such great footwork again from Minogue. And there's a ball looking for Tolaj, and both Tolaj and Aluwu missed it. And Aluwu could afford to. Tolaj probably couldn't, and he's ruined his luck. But he will, at least as a striker, Aaron, you know this. He's just gone, this is game number, 9 or 10 tonight? 9.
Game number 10.
Game number 10. So he scored in game 1. He's just gone 8 games without a goal. That'll mean a lot to him, that goal tonight, won't it?
Most definitely. For a striker, you want to be getting yourself on the score sheet when you go 8 games.
Frost bursting through the middle. He's just got the edge on Collins. Tries to square it across. Tolaj. Oh, brilliant block. Back out to Frost to the far edge. And Glover might get a shot away. Stokes does, and it's straight at Walker. He done well, actually, to get his shot away. But Walker read it well. And the Shots are knocking on the door, Aaron.
It's only a matter of time at the moment. Continuously just knocking on the door, putting balls in behind. The Barnet defenders are not dealing with it well at all. 2 opportunities there for Shots to get back on level terms. Neither taken, but they're asking questions.
Great winner in the air from Harris. And I have to say that move was started by a towering header from Glover against Kabamba, of all people. Barham can't keep that one away. So sometimes you don't always get to pick up everything in commentary, but I wanted to go back to it because Kabamba jumped lazily, Glover jumped for all he was worth, and I'm sat next to Springs, so just tell me what, people write you off, don't they? They look at your height and they think you can't win it, but he's so good in the air, Glover.
He's brilliant. He's done brilliant there as well. He wants to win that ball more. He realises that there's an opportunity there, and for a striker, when you know that someone can get up and win that header and get it back over the defence, you've always got a chance.
Here's Barnet building again. They've suffered a bit of pressure. They're going to make another substitution in a minute, but Kabamba's holding the ball up. Goes for Pritchard. It's well won by Frost, and he comes away with the ball. He's having a terrific game. He's running into space across the middle. Now he finds his pass to Stokes, who drifts onto it, has to turn. He's got an overlapping run, and that's coming now from Harfield, and the substitute, I think it is, has just towed it into touch, but Aldershot take the throw quickly, and Glover's coming towards the edge of the box now. He's going to try a shot from distance. He does! It's a really good effort, and it's parried just behind for a corner by Walker, who balls out his defenders, but the shots are absolutely flying here and pushing so hard for an equaliser.
Well, that's goal from Tolaj has absolutely got this Aldershot team rocking now. Now they look like the home team. They're in control of the game. They're continuously forcing errors from the Barnet players and getting opportunities at the end of it. They just now need this equaliser to go in, because they keep knocking on the door. They don't want to get hit with a sucker punch and then Barnet go and take the game away from them. But really, really positive moments from Aldershot. And
it's Akimo who's coming on for Barnet. And forgive me, listeners, I didn't notice who went off. Maybe Aaron did, I don't know. We'll find out who's gone off.
It was
Potter. Thank you. Straight swap in the centre-back positions. Akimo for Potter. In comes the corner, headed away by Collins, who's a threat in both boxes, particularly his own. He is a centre-half, of course. Here's Glover. Ball into the far post. That's over everybody. And second time round, didn't get it quite right, but it'll be a goal kick to Barnet. And just as Tolaj is just holding his head, is a little bit dazed, Barnet get quickly out in the left-back position. There's no let-up for the shots. They've still got defending to do. Here's a Chemo breaking forward. Stokes running up against him, shoves him. Doesn't go down. Referee doesn't give anything. Barnet keep the ball. Hartigan across to Pritchard. Pritchard finds the substitute Senior. He might have come on and scored in this game last year, but my memory could be playing tricks. He gives the ball out to Reece Hall-Johnson. And Barnet have kept the ball, and they'll be pleased to keep the ball up the other end at the minute, because they've had a torrid 10-15 minutes. Here's Collins with the ball inside, going for the 1-2. It's cut out by Aldershot. And Kabamba then throws himself as a ball and makes contact, and Jordi van Stappershoef can just watch it harmlessly run behind. You still have got to watch Barnet here, haven't you? Because as much as Aldershot have asked big questions in the last 15 minutes, they can hurt you. Now Aldershot are going to reach for Kwame Thomas, and I understand that. Jack Barham has beavered away all night. He's given a different kind of a threat, but that's what Kwame Thomas will bring. He'll give Aldershot a focal point now. Yeah, definitely. And he's got quality. You know, I think if you put Kwame Thomas on the end of a couple of those opportunities, then it could end up in the back of the net. So just keeping it fresh as well. You know, Aldershot are in a good moment. They're creating opportunities. Give fresh legs a chance to go and create something and get yourself on the score sheet. Senior battles with Harfield. Harfield wins. Harries lifts a ball over the top. That's difficult. Akimo can only head it into touch, down by the corner flag. And Aldershot Town are not going to go away, that's for sure. Here comes Kwame Thomas. Now, will it be Barham or will it be Tolaj? It is Tolaj. He's got his goal, but he can't stay on and get a second one. Kwame Thomas is on for Tolaj, who looks a little bit dazed still as he walks off the pitch. He's given his all tonight. Got back on the score sheet. And Aldershot have a throw, which Jones takes and comes back to Glover, who kept himself available in space, sends in the cross. Taken on the chest by Thomas. Shot, deflects off a defender, behind for a corner. And another effort on goal. Good defending from Barnet, another corner for shots, Aaron. Well, that's a great introduction from Kwame Thomas there. It's a whipped ball in from Glover, and he just takes it down really well on his chest and looks to swivel and get his shot in and gets a corner for the shots. Really, really good start and positive for Aldershot. Glover's going to take this. Can the shots get a bit of reward for their efforts in this second half? In it comes from Glover. It's half cleared to the edge of the area, and then the clearance is completed. Goes all the way through to Harfield, who's going to go all the way back to Jordi van Stappershoef. And Haji Manoga stayed up saying, come on, stick it up here. Let's go 50-50 in the air. Up it comes. It's past most players, and Kwame Thomas probably even 5 or 6 years ago probably wouldn't have got on the end of that one. I don't think even Aaron McLean, the let's say 28-year-old version, would have got that, would you? I don't know. I probably would have kept that in. You might have kept it in. Cut across the line and beat the keeper 2-2. Exactly. Can we have you back, please? Right. Ball cleared up into the air by Walker. Good battle between Harries and Kabamba. Harries does enough. Manoga hits it back to Jordi van Stappershoef. If it stays as it is, we could be having one of those post-match chats with Tommy Widrington where we have to bring in the word performance as well as result, but there will be disappointment if the shots don't get anything out of this. They're almost at the point, Aaron, where you'd say they deserve a point. I'm holding back a bit from saying it, but they're not far off it, are they, really? They're not. Listen, they've ball over the top, Barham chasing, and eventually the flag goes up. Sorry, Aaron. Yeah. This second half, they've given a great account of themselves. They've created the clearer cut opportunities, and they've just not taken them. I think the wind seems to have picked up a bit, so they now need to just be a little bit careful with the balls that they're playing forward, that they don't just run through and run out of play or run through to the keeper. They need to be a little bit more lofted, but with Kwame Thomas up there, you know, they've got a focal point. They've got someone who they can hit and then make runs off of. That's Aaron McLean. I'm Rob Worrell. Listen to BBC Radio Surrey Sports. Barnet 2, Shots 1. Shots having a really good spell, having got back from 2-0 down. But Barnet are coming again. They're not finished, and one more goal will probably seal the deal on this one. We've got 15 minutes left plus added time. There's a deep cross to the far post. Well, one in the air by Harfield. And then good battling between Stokes, and who sends a ball over the top quickly looking for Barham. Nice idea, but Collins is bright and alert, and he finds a good pass as well into the middle. Here's Brunt on the ball on the edge of the area, sends it out to the left to Carnu. He can cross with either foot, but he'll ideally want it back on his right. Now he comes on his right, tries the shot, lifts it over the bar. Was there a deflection? Yes, says the referee. Corner to Barnet, that's what he can do.
That is what he can do. You know, Brunt gets the ball out to him nice and early, allows Carnu to go 1v1 against his man, and if you let him cut inside, he has got the ability to whip that ball into that far corner, and he very nearly does it, gets a deflection and gets a corner for his team. But dangerous move for Barnet there.
Absolutely. And Reece Hall-Johnson's down. Not sure if I gave him the full credit that he deserved for that second Barnet goal. He'd already gone past one Aldershot Town defender. He went straight past another as well, and then sent it into the area, and he'll get the assist, of course. Kabamba with a deft touch into the goal. That put the Bees 2-0 up. Tolaj pulled one back. Is Barnet at the other end. Flick on, far post. Shot from distance is ended up being a pass out to the right wing. And Barnet have still got it. Wicked on the wind. In it comes again. Van Stappershoef jumps and catches unmarked and thinks about the early ball out to Glover, who's so adept at finding a bit of space, but he eventually goes to Aaron Jones. Jones straight through the middle. That should be easy for Hartigan. He wins the header. Glover can't get on the end of it. Brunt keeps it in. That's the difference, those little moments. Senior picks the ball up on the edge of the area. Is Brunt going to have a shot from distance? He does. It's deflected, and thankfully it drops at the feet of an Aldershot Town player, and they can get out now as they do. And the ball up towards Josh Stokes, heads it into the path of Glover. Can he get contact on it? No, the Barnet player does though, and it's a throw in to the Shots. We've got less than 10 minutes now, plus whatever's added. Here's Stokes coming forward. Ball up to Kwame Thomas. He's holding it up. He's dragged down. Good advantage played by the referee. Finds Stokes. Stokes finds Barham. In it comes. Oh, just in front of Tyler Frost. And they couldn't get the effort away, but Barnet quickly looking to hit Aldershot on the transition. Brunt feeds Carnu on the left-hand side. One-on-one against Haji Minoga. Plays it across. It's well cut out by Kean Harries, whose touch is heavy though, and the ball's picked up by Pritchard, who's everywhere. Reece Hall-Johnson finds Senior. Senior going one-on-one against Glover to the edge of the area. Glover does really well, steps in, wins the ball and wins the foul. And one thing that, as it's a BBC Surrey commentary, I should just give you advance warning now, Aaron, is that towards the end of the game you get to pick the Aldershot Town man of the match. Okay, so start thinking about that now. Here's Stokes into Kwame Thomas. Squares it across. It's a very poor ball. It's gone straight to a Barnet player. They play it forward. Held up poorly by Kabamba, and Minoga breaks forward. The ball out to the right-hand side to Stokes. Stokes clips a ball in. It's poor. It's poor. He gets it all wrong, and it goes straight to Laurie Walker. And Haji Minoga, who's given his all and bombed forward again, then trots back. Yet again, he's played an awful lot of this game on a yellow card. I think he might have been the first player shown yellow, if I remember rightly. Well, no, it might have been one even earlier than that. But the referee has only shown one more in the second half that I can recall. Here's Pritchard picking the ball up just inside his own half. Out to the right-hand side, Hall-Johnson inside to Senior. Senior inside to Collins. Collins advances to the end of the area. Is he going to try a shot? He does. It's point blank saved by Jordi Van Stappershoef. Got some power on it, Aaron, didn't he?
I'm not sure Collins is a defender. You know, the way he ventured forward there and unleashed that strike, you know, that was like an attacking midfielder kind of position. Looks really good when he's got the ball at his feet.
And a foul over on the far side. It'll be a free kick to Barnet. Once again, Reece Hall-Johnson looking to get away, and it's Ollie Scott who's brought him down, the Aldershot substitute. So Barnet, well, they've got the lead, they've got the territory, they've got the clock on their side now as well. And there are 80 minutes gone now. I was a little bit premature in saying there was less than 10 minutes left, so 80 plus whatever's added. And Aldershot have got a little bit more defending to do. Love to see if they can keep this game alive right through to the end. And yeah, Chesterfield are now 2-2 against Halifax, and they've had a man sent off. It's Naylor who's been sent off. Free kick in from Barnet, very, very deep to the far post, header down, appeals for a handball, no says the referee, and Barham is in a foot race with Akimo, but Akimo stays on his feet, Barham slips, goes back to Walker. Walker out to the right hand side, and then eventually gets it back, and now he'll give the ball a little bit of a punt up towards Kabamba. Kabamba will jump with Harries, who wins it in the air. Frost picks up the ball in midfield, holds it up. He's fouled from behind, surely. No, the referee doesn't give that one either. It's very strange how much is just allowed to go, but he has been quite consistent with it. Is Senior picking the ball up on the left-hand side into Brunt, edge of the area. Will he think about a shot? No, he spreads it out wide to Carnu, who's one-on-one against Jones, onto his right foot. Cross is very, very deep, and it's headed. Well, I tell you what, Kabamba, I think it was, did really well to get up and get his head on it. Would have been very difficult to steer it in, Aaron, but as somebody who's pretty good at leaping up for headers, he did all right there, Kabamba, didn't he?
He did. It looked like it was going to run all the way out, but I think the conditions are holding the ball up a little bit. So Kabamba's able to get up, and he just can't steer it on target. Puts a little bit too much on it, and it goes over the bar. But again, another good opportunity for Barnet.
This game, the pace of this game just will not let up. Throwing over on the far side, level with Aaron and myself. We're sat about 20 yards into the Barnet half, and it's going to be a Barnet throw. And now we've got a stoppage in play for something. Oh no, it's just the referee saying go back, don't take any more yards on the throw. And it comes down the right hand side, up towards Kabamba, who's backing off, holding it up for Courtney Senior, who goes straight past the Aldershot attempted tackle, and then the ball comes in, and Harries cuts it out. Harries trays the ball out to the right hand side, and that's a big win from Akimo against Kwame Thomas, because if Thomas had won that, he could have got the Aldershot player in. Here's Stokes picking the ball up, holding it up, up against Carnu, goes back to Minoga. For a 19-year-old, his hold-up play and his touch is incredible, isn't it, Josh?
It really is.
And he has come up 3 leagues to play at this level this season. I don't think he'll be at this level for too long, if I'm honest. There's a ball forward, off the head of Akimo. Barham chasing it, making sure it's a corner, and it is a corner. And 82 minutes gone here. Barnet 2, Aldershot Town 1. You're listening to Rob Warren and Aaron McLean. And until we get any break in the intensity, I'm not going to go to those other scores. It's all about this game, which is still alive at the Hive. It's live and alive at the Hive. Corner to the shots, half field to take it. Left-footed in swinger. In it comes to the far post. Easy for Walker to gather that one. And he's desperate to get Barnet on the way quickly with a counter-attack. In the end, he bowls it out to the right-hand side to Senior. Senior up to Hartigan. Goes for the return. He's expecting an awful lot, but Senior's up to it, and it's blocked by Ollie Scott, and then the Barnet player goes down. Nothing given. Ball up towards Thomas, and Collins, a towering leap to stop Kwame Thomas getting up. Heads it into touch. Throw into the shots. Aaron, we're a long way away. Your thoughts on that one?
Well, from here it looked like a penalty, but I've got to say, you can normally tell by the appeal of the players around it, and there wasn't huge appeals. So clearly it must have been a really good challenge, and the referee seemingly gets that one right.
All right, I couldn't quite see if it was inside or outside the penalty either, but yeah, big shout anyway. Here's Senior on the right hand side, looks to square it. It's cut out by Aldershot and then volleyed away by Ollie Scott. A little bit high though. Pritchard will head it back. At times this is how good this Barnet team are. You know, they've settled back into the game again now, and at times it looks as if there's an extra player or two out there in orange and black. But Aldershot defending well. Glover finds Stokes. Stokes, a great fake, and goes away on the other foot, and then he's chopped down. And again, that for me is quite cynical, and that should be a yellow for Reece Hall-Johnson. If you look at the way the yellow cards have been dished out, it was quite cynical, wasn't it? It wasn't dangerous, but it was cynical. Stopped Aldershot getting away on the break. Harries is going to take the free kick from inside his own half, up towards Kwame Thomas, who holds it up and goes back to Haji Minoga. Minoga inside to Glover, takes the ball on the half turn, spreads it out to Kwame Thomas. He goes for the return. Akimo does well to stick a leg out. So does Thomas, but that's going to disappear away to our right. And interestingly, the idea of getting the ball back in play quickly continues here into the last 10 minutes with Barnet 2-1 up. So that's a bold sign of confidence that I'm sure is upon instruction. Barnet are giving it away again though. Harfield's got it inside his own half. Cracking game now at Eastleigh, where it's Eastleigh 2, Oxford City 2. And Wealdstone have pulled a goal back at Dorking. And Oldham have doubled their lead against York. And Southend are 1-0 up against Maidenhead. But here, Shots holding the ball up with Aaron Jones. Still not giving this one up. 2-1 down. Glover into the feet of Frost, who does well to control it. Goes back to Glover. Glover to Harfield. Thomas peels off to the far post. In comes the cross. Headed away by Akimo, who beats Thomas to it. And I want to see Thomas being a bit more stronger and a bit more determined there. He's the fresh legs. Mind you, Akimo is also fresh legs, so they probably neutralised there. Pritchard across the middle to Hartigan. And it's swinging back the other way, listeners, now. If anything, it looks more like Barnet might get a third. But credit to Aldershot, have given absolutely everything in the cause this evening. Barnet 2, Shots 1. Cook nibbling away, trying to win the ball. I think Barnet are going to win themselves a corner. No, the goal kick's been given. And I'm just going to be honest and say I thought it was a corner, but it matters not. Aldershot are not going to hang around. They come forward quickly with Harries up towards Thomas, who holds it up and helps it on towards Thomas. It's cleared into touch by Aluwu. Great catch by the Aldershot assistant manager. Throw into Aaron Jones, right down by myself and the other Aaron, McLean. Kwame Thomas goes down. He thinks illegally. Referee says not. Barnet playing it around the back, but they go back to Laurie Walker. He clears up in the air. Glover might be favourite to win it, but he diverts it backwards. Haji Minoga gets the ball under control, feels the man in the back of him, turns and gets away from him. He's having his shorts pulled and everything, and the referee has to give a free kick. Literally, we could see him seeing the pull on the shorts, and I thought he was looking for the advantage there, to be fair to him, Aaron.
He was. I've got to say, Minoga's been outstanding.
Yeah.
You know,
he's
really,
a quality player.
Really good on the ball. Probably launches himself into one too many tackles for my liking, but Wholehearted has been up against Kanu all evening, and you've got to say he's given a great account of himself. I've been really impressed with him.
Free kick then to Aldershot, which Aaron Jones is going to take. Just 10 yards inside the Barnet half. Pretty high line from Aldershot. Harries is stood in an offside position, so he can't jump. In it comes. Glover, oh, he's just beaten to it by a Barnet defender. Comes back in, flicked on by Barham. And Kian Harries just hesitates and waits because he thinks it's going to be a corner, but it's been given as an offside or a goal kick. Not quite sure why Harries didn't get involved there.
I think Harries feels like he's offside.
Yeah.
If that's the case, then as a player, you have to work hard to make sure you're onside, because when that comes to him, he has a clear sight of goal. If he hits a shot of goal, he's got every chance of scoring. I think in that position, you just go for it anyway, and if you get flagged offside, you get flagged offside. The worst thing you can do is just let it run out of play, and then you find that you was onside.
Into the dying minutes here at the Hive, and Aldershot are really testing out Barnet's credentials here. 2-1 down, and they've had 5 or 6 chances of some description to get it all level. They've got a long throw here, which Haji Minoga's forward to take. I think the Barnet height matchup is definitely got the advantage, but Aldershot are going to try it anyway. Glover runs into space. In comes Minoga with the throw. Headed up in the air by a Barnet player. Big leap. Laurie Walker comes over Thomas to punch it away. Ball's played up towards Harries, and the referee correctly notices that Thomas holds down Walker after the ball had gone and gives Barnet. We're going to have 7 added minutes. There's a few groans around the stadium, but that doesn't surprise me too much in the modern day, Aaron. And the game is still alive, and you have to give Aldershot credit for staying in the game, because they have done.
Absolutely. I'm not too sure about that 7 minutes, if I'm honest. The fact that every single time the ball goes out of play, a new ball gets thrown straight in.
Yeah.
That should have at least taken some off. Had that not been the case, we could be looking at 12, 13, 14 minutes here. So maybe that's part of the reason why Dean Brennan's team, are doing that.
game's been played in tremendous intensity. Throwing from shots is headed on by Kwame Thomas, and brilliantly won by Tyler Frost. Gives the ball to Stokes. Stokes with the ball inside, looking for Thomas. It's prodded back. Jack Barham's got it inside the penalty area. Squares it across. Cleared behind for another corner by Barnet. And Aldershot Town's performance levels in this second half have been superb. We're going to have a third and final substitution for Barnet. It's Gorman who's going to come on, and Zach Brunt who's going to come off. And Aldershot, at the moment, as it stands, are going to pick up some plaudits, but not any points here at the Hive. But my goodness me, Shots fans listening around the country, around the world, you can be proud of your team this evening. They've given absolutely everything, and they haven't given up yet. They scored from an Ollie Harfield corner. They have now an Ollie Harfield corner. And the referee blows his whistle and has a word about the push-in, and Minoga in the box, Thomas in the box, corner, Harfield. In it comes, headed down, half cleared, edge of the area, Aaron Jones. Jones spreads it back out to the right-hand side to Harfield. Harfield with the ball in, headed away by Kabamba, who's back there doing a job for his team. As it stands, he's going to score the winner tonight. And that's what he wants to protect right now for Barnet. Another throw to Aldershot over on the far side. Minoga is going to come and take it again. It's all in now from the Shots. They're going to be liable to the counter-attack, but they're giving it their all. Shots fans listen in, and that's all you could ever ask of them. Minoga with the ball into the box, and Walker comes and gathers it and drops to the floor as you'd expect him to. And then he gets up and thinks, well, hang on a minute, we might be in for a counter. And Pritchard's the one who's shown. And Southend United in the 91st minute have scored a second goal. And I take my hat off to you, Southend United. Wow. Here's Barnet getting in down the right-hand side. Cross comes in, it's past everybody. It'll drift away into touch. It'll be a throw into Aldershot in the right-back position. And unfortunately, points don't get handed out for effort. Points don't get handed out for guts. But Aldershot Town have certainly shown all those attributes this afternoon. Games finishing all around the National League. Oldham 2, York 0. Glover gets a foot on it but can only tow it to Gorham from the throw. And now Barnet will probably go into a little bit of game management and just vary the pace and the tempo. Collins out wide to Gorham. Gorham back to Collins, and then Senior. Hartigan out to Gorham again. Barnet having a good spell of possession here, and Hartigan gets the ball, drifts it out to the right hand side where Paul Johnson's waiting. Back to Gorman, in again, Aldershot pressing again, trying to win it. Now they've got a foot on it, but the ball's broken kindly for Barnet. Senior into the feet of Kabamba, holds it up one way, then the other, goes back to Gorham and out to the right hand side, and Aldershot players have given their all, but it's keep ball now from Barnet. Scott toes it into touch, and we drift ever closer to the final whistle. Aldershot Town are going to win plaudits, not points by the looks of things. Here they come with Harfield in his own area. He's being tugged. His arm was being pulled. I can see it from the referee from here, but the referee who's 10 yards away can't. Ball played forward, bounces over Barham. Akimo will go all the way back to Walker. Kwame Thomas will continue his run. Walker will kick up towards halfway now. Shots with the header, Glover, but it goes into touch, and ironic applause from the Barnet home supporters who stand just moments away from a 5th consecutive home win and the best home form in the National League. But my goodness me, they've had to work for it tonight. Ball down the right channel, down by the corner flag, being held up by Kabamba. Widrington turns, looks a little bit forlorn. Aldershot win it back, get the header. Oh, Cian Harries with a bit of keep ball in his own 6-yard box, feeds Haji Minoga. He'll run and run. Can they find one more ball? That one goes wrong, but the loose ball's picked up by Aaron Jones, spinning viciously. Frost chases it, takes it down on his chest, can't keep it in. It's tired legs, he's given his absolute all. I'm not going to predict who Aaron McLean's going to give the Aldershot man of the match to, but I would imagine he's got 4 or 5 players in mind, because there's an awful lot of them are given their absolute all out there. Akimo with a throw down the line. Kabamba heads it on. Cian Harries takes it onto his left foot, sends the diag out to the left, looking for Ollie Scott, who heads it down into the path of Barham. He goes down a little bit too easily, probably. Aldershot battle for it. Frost wins it back. Is he fouled? Nothing given. And then Scott fouls and the referee gives it. And I think the referee probably couldn't give any one of 2 or 3 fouls there. In the end, he gives it to Barnet. And another chance for Laurie Walker to run down the clock and hopefully do so from his point of view without getting a second yellow.
Fingers crossed.
Dorking have beaten Wealdstone 3-1. Well done, Mark White's men. Back-to-back wins in the National League. Always at a premium, those. Borehamwood 1, Rochdale 1, Woking 1, Ebbsfleet 1. Draws in so many other games. Aldershot are trailing 2-1 here, but they're going to get generous applause from their 172 fans at the end of this, whatever the outcome. Here's Minoga coming over halfway. Goes back to Aaron Jones. Jones to Glover. Glover holds it up. He's getting battered from behind by Gorham. Manages to find a pass inside to Harfield. Harfield to Harries. Harries has got to lift it forward now, surely. No, he goes on the floor to Frost. Frost takes it under control. Tries to buy the ball through to Barham. Barham squares it. It's cut out. It'll be another throw to shots. Will Minoga come for it? Minoga says, no, I'm going to go in the box this time. Aaron Jones, you take it. Last chance saloon for shots here in added time, at the end of added time. Minoga holding it up, twisting, turning, trying to get room for a cross. He's having his shirt pulled off his back and he's battling away. He's still battling away. Barnet have now got it. Senior's got it down by the corner flag. Minoga's won it back again. He's into the penalty area, squares it across. It's cut out by Barnet. Minoga goes down a bit too easily. And Barnet will clear off the Aldershot Town player. And there is the final whistle. And it ends Barnet 2, Aldershot Town 1. But well done Aldershot Town on a terrific second half performance. They probably deserved a draw. That's my opinion. I'll hand you over to Aaron McLean, who'll give you his verdict on the game and on the Aldershot Town man of the match.
Well, it was a thoroughly entertaining game. Aldershot very, very unlucky to come away from this game without anything. You know, that second half performance definitely deserved at least a point from this game. Dean Brennan will be happy that his team's got the 3 points, but he knows they had to work hard for it and they had to ride their luck, because once Aldershot got that first goal, you know, they constantly put that Barnet back line under pressure, and it was just probably a lack of quality in that final third that cost Aldershot tonight. But really good performance from both teams. Really, really level game. You know, I don't think either team will come out of this and think they deserve to go on and win the game. But Barnet just managed to do enough, got the goals at key times and take the 3 points. I've got to say, Minoga for me was magnificent.
Yep.
You know, defensively he was brilliant, made some really strong challenges, was on a yellow card for a long period of the game, but managed to manage that. And then when he had the ball at his feet, was driving forward, trying to make things happen, even right to the very end, you know, in the corner, trying to get the ball into the box and make something happen, taking that responsibility on. So he, for me, is the man of the match for Aldershot.
Yeah, I wholeheartedly concur, but fantastic mentions in dispatches for so many of the other Aldershot Town players. It's heartache for them. They're going to leave here with nothing. Josh Stokes shaking his head as he comes off the pitch. Sad sight to see Max Deitch limping away very, very slowly. I don't think we're going to see him involved, certainly not on Saturday anyway, when the shots will be not too far from here again, away to Borehamwood. That's my shortest journey of the season, about 45 minutes. Barnet, congratulations to them. They pushed right up at that top end of the league again with their 5th consecutive home win. And Aaron, I don't know if you've seen it yet, but Chesterfield have done it again. Down to 10 men, pegged back to 2-2, and in 90+1, they've gone and won it again. They stay top of the league, and that is their 7th 80-minute plus winner this season. Unbelievable.
Well, I think it's their 5th in a row that they've scored in 80 or, you know, past 80 minutes mark, and we keep saying that they can't keep doing it, but they do. Somehow they keep doing it and they keep getting the points on the board. I think Paul Cook he never had any hair anyway. So, you know, if he had, it would have all fallen out by now. But you know, it's great character from the Chesterfield team. They keep managing to do it, and I'm happy for Quigley as well, because, you know, he's having to pick and choose. You know, he's not getting the minutes that he probably would have liked. I don't think it's gone as well for him since he's gone there as he would have liked, but he's popped up with some really, really important goals so far this season, and, you know, good on him.
Just before we wrap up with Aaron, a few more full times. Altrincham 2, Hartlepool 2, Southend 2, Maidenhead 0. I just can't quite believe it. Dagenham Redbridge 0, Bromley 1. Solihull Moors 2, Fylde 1. Solihull Moors remain still the only undefeated team in the National League. Your old club Peterborough United beat Cheltenham by 3-0. Gateshead also won 3-0 against Kidderminster. And a couple of mentions for the commentary tonight. Ricky Pugs, Ricky Cope. Great to know you're listening up in Scotland, Pugs. Sorry I didn't get to mention you in the previous commentaries, but he says great commentary tonight, and from Rob, and shots legend A9 Mac. And Mike Brown also says excellent listen. Tyler Frost, my man of the match. Point lost. Aaron is a great co-commentator. Well, he's even better than that, to be honest, but I nabbed him tonight, and I'm going to ask you right now, did you enjoy it? And if you're free, would you do it again?
Absolutely.
Fantastic.
I loved it. Really, really. I'm glad that you called on me, because I was potentially going to come to this game anyway. You know, two of my former clubs, and I had a free evening, so I was potentially going to be here anyway. But, you know, to come here and do the co-commentary with you is, you know, is an honour for me. So thank you.
Oh, and thank you too, an honour for me. And we're going to wrap up there, listeners, and get ourselves off air. Look out for some post-match, hopefully this evening, from Tommy Widrington on at BBC Surrey Sport. We'll speak to you again from just down the road from here, from Boreham Wood, from Meadow Park on Saturday, where the Shots will take on a Boreham Wood side that haven't quite had the start to the season that they would have liked. Luke Garrard, if you don't mind me asking you a quick question on that one. He's done his usual, kept the continuity, got 4 or 5 players in, but too many draws, and they can't quite got the formula right yet this season, have they? I mean, but no. There's no shame in a draw with Rochdale right now, of course.
Absolutely. Yeah. Rochdale are a good outfit. You know, had a good win against Barnet at the weekend. So, you know, it's not quite going the way that Luke Garrard would have liked it. I don't think it's going the way that a lot of us expected, you know, especially with their front line with Kwesi Appiah and Unlove. You know, they're a handful, the pair of them. But I think that they just, listen, they need to stick at it. They need to keep doing what they've been doing the last few seasons. And I've no doubt that Luke Garrard and his team will be able to turn it around and start to move further up the table than they currently are.
And I'll just mention quickly that Femi Ilasanmi and Jamal Fifield, who most of you out there in non-league football world will realise have been doing a cracking podcast available on YouTube and Instagram called Beyond the 92, where they've spoken to a different professional footballer manager every week. Really good to get the professionals' perspective on it, like it's been to have a professionals' insight tonight. And they'll both be coming, whatever the score on Saturday. Femi and Jamal, or Jammer as you know him, I can't call him that yet, are going to come on the NL Food Time podcast on Sunday. That'll be out Sunday evening or Monday morning. So we'll look forward to that, and we look forward to speaking to you again, listeners, around the country and around the world. Sorry, there's no points tonight for the Shots, but you can be proud of their team. They were superb against one of the best sides in the league, and very unlucky to leave the Hive with nothing. Final score here. Good night from me, and goodbye from you, Aaron.
Good night, everyone.
We'll have to work on that one, won't we? Final score here, Barnet 2, Shots 1. Good night all. Superb, mate. Thank you very much.